Hello? Hey. Okay, before we do anything, can anyone in the chat tell me if the audio and everything is alright? I just want to see if everything's okay. Hopefully everything's working too, so that's the thing. Yay! We're gonna do a couple things today. I'll tell you guys what we're gonna do pretty soon. My voice could be a tad louder. Oh. Alright, let me see what I can do. Alright. Oh, let me check the levels a little bit. Oh. Ah! Okay, that's too loud. Alright. Ah! Still too loud. Okay. Maybe this is good enough, I hope. It's just the values went straight to the red, like right at it. And I was like, shit, I'm probably too loud. Hey chat. Is the music too loud, by the way? I really want to know. So I just want to confirm if people can actually hear me. So if you guys can hear me, press F. Just press F to pay respects. Be nice. I want to see some Fs. Press F in the chat, please. Good. I see one F. Nice. I see you guys are paying respects. That's good. That's good. Alright. Alright, okay, let's start. Okay, so what are we gonna be doing here? Okay, I'm gonna be doing a level in Hedge Physics from... It's not gonna be from start to finish, it's gonna be mostly like a starting section of the stage. I just wanna get everything, like, I just wanna show you guys how it's done and show you the process and whatnot, because doing most of the rest of the stage is mostly like very samey stuff, and it's gonna be very similar to what's happening in the beginning of the stage. So we're gonna be doing this. We're gonna be modeling the stage on Blender. We're gonna be making the textures for the stage. Everything is gonna be original. I don't plan on getting anything from anywhere. It's all gonna be original models, original textures, and I think the process is gonna go like this. We're gonna make textures in Photoshop, and plan out the stage probably before that, or maybe not because it's just fucking Green Hill. But we're gonna go with texture work in Photoshop, and then we're gonna be doing. We're going to be teaching you guys some basics of the rendering pipeline of Unity, which is going to be physically based rendering or image-based lighting or whatever you want to call it. I think image-based lighting is kind of different, but we're going to go over that, and then we're going to go over modeling the actual stage, modeling objects, go over certain components to not make your level too hard. Like, we're going to go over LODs, level of details, like having a lower version of the mesh, and it's going to be full modeling and whatnot. And then after that, we're going to be doing, maybe around that time, we're going to be doing some shaders via shader editor. In this case, we're going to be using Shader Forge, which is available on the asset store. It might be a little expensive for most people, so in terms of like shader editors, you might also want to get a better shader editor, but because I don't know if Shader Forge is the best one that exists, but I just know that I own it, so I'm going to be using it. There are other shader editors you can use, but as long as you know the basics of shaders and whatnot, it should be fine for you. The version of Unity we're going to be using is 2017.4.1 F1. It's called an LTS build. It's a long-term support build. That means it's going to be throughout this year, 2018 and 2019, we're going to be getting like more polished and bug-fixed versions of Unity 2017. So I'm going to be pretty much just using those for like the next couple of years, which is, 2017 is generally a pretty good build of Unity. There's more stuff coming up, but Unity is getting more complex as time goes on and stuff like that. So we're just going to be sticking with 2017 for the next 2 years. So yeah, let's get started on this. First, we're going to be doing some textures. This is just Green Hill, right? So it's not going to be anything too big. Let me put on Photoshop in the picture. Man, it really sucks having an extra wide monitor for streaming. It really does. Holy shit, this is gonna suck. So let's go in window capture. Let me capture Photoshop if I can. Good, you see that? See those black bars? I don't know if there's anything I can do about that. Let's see what I can do. Okay, so first we're gonna be starting by doing the regular green hue checkerboard pattern. And we're gonna be pretty much making the whole pattern over here. And the model itself, the green hill type we're gonna be doing is a very simple kind of green hill. So it's not gonna be all that important, but we're gonna be starting over here right now. Let's just paint the thing. So first of all, what resolution? A lot of people want to know what resolution you should use. Well, the resolution. Oh, it's not showing up. Fuck. Just go with display capture. Oh, okay. This is a little bit better. You can't even see the toolbar. I'm gonna be leaving it around here. Oh, and the layers. Here. There's more things over here too. Yeah, there's more stuff over there. It really sucks having an extra wide monitor for this. But what resolution are we gonna be using? I'm gonna be using it needs to be a power of 2 resolution. And by power of 2, I mean, you know, like you remember 16-bit? Well, that's basically like, okay, so you got 2, and then you multiply 2 by itself, and you get 4. I think it's by itself. I know, just by 2. I think it's by 2, so it's like 2 times whatever the fuck. So it's just memorize. It's 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, and I can see that's the Nintendo 64. It's exactly that. And then you have 128, and then you have 256, and then you have 512, 124, and blah blah blah, whatever those resolutions are. So we're just gonna go with this one, but times 2. I just want to confirm because I might be getting the number wrong. Yeah, it's 2048. That's the resolution we're going to be using for textures. That's the one I generally use because on certain computers, you're not going to be able to be using like really high resolution textures, like the double of this, which I believe are, I believe is a 2K texture, like, you know, 2K resolution. The double of this is 4K, but we're going to be sticking with this for now. This is what I heard. I'm not sure if it's true, but whatever. This is a good resolution. It's actually bigger than your monitor generally. Like, for example, the zoom over here it's 33%. If you zoom into the max, it's going to look a bit bad. Like, okay, so zoom into the max, it's bigger than my monitor. That's good enough because when you import this texture into Unity, it will actually, like, you can actually go into Unity and then set it to be of a lower resolution if you want to. But it's good to always have the high resolution one. Anyways, let me just put some music right now. Also, if you guys wanna have any questions in the chat or stuff like that, you can ask for it. I've been having a hard time keeping up myself. I hope I can. Let me adjust my windows really quick on the other monitor. Oh man. Spark on Switch, please. That is all. All right, let me screen cap that real quick. Please don't mind that. Anyways, let's go. Okay, so I have a drawing tablet. It's this thing. I don't think you know what it is, but it's a thing. I'm gonna show what it is. Hold on. Drawing tablet. It's one of the cheap ones out there. Yeah, let me actually show you. If you guys found this stuff on Amazon, it does work. It's cheap, and I really don't know if you actually need anything more expensive than this. Did it like show up? No? Be a dick, will you? Okay. It's this fucking thing. This is exactly what I use. It's the cheapest one out there, and it works just fine. And I usually like to use drawing tablets for drawing and making textures and whatnot. They are incredibly useful. I've been using those things like non-stop every time I want to make a texture or draw anything, and considering I draw my own textures and whoops, oh, that's the thing on the drawing tablet. Don't mind that. But yeah, it's those buttons at the top. But those are really good. Essentially you have a pen and you draw it and you draw here, and what is over here gets translated into the computer. So that's what it is. It's a really good idea, and it also has like pen sensitivity. So if you have certain brushes, the more you press, the less opacity it's gonna have, and you're gonna be noticing that. Highly recommend you get one of those if you really want to get serious with drawing on your computer. But to be honest, for this, you don't exactly have to use it. You can just use the mouse. So let's start. I'm gonna be doing a standard green hill checkerboard pattern so far. Oh shit, what the fuck did I do? Alright, so if I hold space, I usually can just move around the screen. I'm gonna be zooming in like this. Alright, so color-wise, I'm gonna be drawing the way I usually do things. For the background, as I like to use, I'm gonna be using like a red, dark red-ish color. Whatever it is. And I'm just gonna be painting, it's fine. If you press the right click on the tablet, it shows this thing, which is all the brushes. Should also work with the mouse. There's like a couple of buttons next to the drawing tablet thing. It's really useful. I guess this red is a little bit too saturated. Oh, with this, now it looks brown. This might not be our full thing. And okay, so I'm gonna make a new layer. And over here, in this thing, you can paint patterns. And it's very interesting because what we can do, and this is a pattern as far as I can tell, it's already in here. I'm not really sure if it's already in here actually. I think you have to make a pattern. But you have to make a pattern. Do you? Well, I don't know actually, now that I think about it. Oh, I guess I'm gonna teach you guys how to make a pattern because I forgot it myself. Okay, no, I guess you just have to Google this. I don't really remember, but essentially you paint a pattern. So in this case, I have a checkerboard pattern, and I'm gonna be deleting all the pixels surrounding it, and I'm just gonna get a 2x2 pattern. Just gonna be deleting it. It has to be pretty precise in this case because you do want our texture to be looping. So this isn't that big of a deal. Like at first you're gonna screw up, but that's fine. So let me get a 2x2. It doesn't have to be entirely that precise for texture, I guess. Okay, so I want to rescale. Sometimes when you rescale, this happens. You get this blurry thing around it. To fix it, you go over here and you do. It's in Portuguese, my Photoshop. I don't have much control over it, but it's, as far as I can tell, I don't have much control, but whatever. You have to change to nearest neighbor instead of bilinear. And now, let's just go back. You can rescale this thing, and if you hold shift, it rescales like a square. It pretty much locks in the height and the width. I don't know. So you just do this. Now it's not. I don't think we're gonna be using this thing. Not really sure. Let's duplicate it. Now to color it, are we gonna be using it? I wasn't planning on doing that. Let's just change the opacity. This isn't gonna be our checkerboard pattern. This is gonna be our reference for the checkerboard pattern. Do hilltop, but with green hill. What? Do hilltop heights, but with no hilltop, but with green hill. What? Sorry, dude. I don't get it. It's fine. Making texture is just like making digital drawings. Exact same thing. Alright, so let's get a yellowish color. I actually don't really remember where exactly the green hill colors are. I'm just gonna be doing whatever. Should be a lighter color. Right, so the brush I usually like to use is this one. That's what I use for most of my games. It's a weird brush. Like at first when you paint it, it's different. Then it becomes something different. It's actually kind of heavy. Like I can paint this thing and it takes a while. Super weird. But let me just paint this thing. Alright, this is gonna be a little bit time consuming. And I'm not even holding shift. If you hold shift, it does it automatically. No, I want to be a little bit of noise. I want a bit of, you know, because the green hill is technically a natural formation, so you don't want it to look too. And now I can just change this one, but I don't want it to look too artificial in some ways. It is artificial, but it's not. It's not purely artificial. If you know what I mean. I don't give a shit. But okay, now we're gonna go back to this brush, but instead we're gonna be using the eraser. And now we're just gonna be painting like this. And if you hold the pen just a little bit, it does this. But if you hold it fully, erases fully. That's why I think this is really good. So I can just hold it a little bit and go like phrasing towards the side, like phasing or whatever. Skimming the edges. I want to become Bob Ross. Except I have no fucking idea what I'm doing. I just know that it works. Alright, now that we have that, instead of, sometimes I would just go and draw a new box over here because I want it to be different and not be the same box and to not look like a copy and paste. But in this case, you can just copy and paste. So just gonna right click, duplicate layer, and I'm gonna rotate it by whatever degrees you want to rotate. Right click, transform, right click, and there's a whole bunch of things you can do. I can just paste it in there. Now we can delete our reference. And we got sort of a green hue checkerboard. This isn't good enough though. There's more we can do about this. So here's what you're going to do for now. First, let me adjust the colors a little bit. I don't think this is very good. So if we go into hue and saturation in this, it's edit. Okay, get the fuck out. I think it's image, adjust, and hue and saturation. I can do like a couple of quick edits. This thing is reasonably complicated for just starting out. At least it can be. So, and I really completely forgot how green hue is. I think I'm just gonna have to recolor it. Technically, I should just be looking at like a picture of green hue and grabbing the colors. But I'm not gonna be doing that. Ooh. I think it's just the same color but lighter. Dude, I really don't know. Let's go with this. So what we're going to be doing now is we're going to be varying things up a little bit. Now if you press Control, Alt, Shift, and E, you get this. It creates a new copy of the layer. Basically, kinda. Okay, so here's what you do. You create a new layer, you press Control, Alt, Shift, and E. And now we have this. We have a new copy of everything, every layer, but fused into one. And we're going to be using this for a lot of things. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go into new, create a new image. But because we did this, we selected everything. If you press Control and you click on a layer, it selects everything on that layer. And this gives you selecting everything here. We press Control C, and then you go over here and Control V. Now we get a new copy of the same image. What we're going to do is we're going to go into image size. I know you can't see it over there, but it's this one. And then we're going to be setting this to 50 and 50. This is percentage in terms of the image size and whatnot. Now we have an image that is exactly this one, but half a size. We're going to go over here and we can copy it. Now we're going to just make this thing all invisible just so we can place it. And it's a little bit tough placing images like this in a higher resolution, because there's always going to be one pixel that's going to be off. But considering our image is pretty simple, we're not going to have that problem. In this case here, select two layers with Shift, right click, and whatever this thing is fuses the layers. I don't know the translation of that. Now I did this again, and I have a better checkerboard pattern, a more interesting one. Alright, so just painting everything that is behind this thing with this, because you see there's a couple lines over here. Oh god damn it, if you zoom in, you can see that there's like a line over here, but if I paint the back, no, it's not there anymore. And then I can just fuse those layers into one again. Now I have this. This is my way of lasing out, but essentially if you click over here, you have certain blending modes that you can use. And I can just mix and match, see what I can do. Got a lot of cool things you can do with this. So I don't know, you can mix and match and do whatever you want. Like look at this. There's a lot of things. In this case, I think we're gonna be going with this for now. Now we're gonna be adding a little bit of noise, a little bit of things to not make it look so flat. So we're gonna be grabbing this color, go back to this brush. There's several brushes you can use in Photoshop. You can really choose whatever you think fits the most. In this case, I'm going to be making a big one, and I'm going to be painting things. Don't worry, this is gonna look fine eventually. This is on another layer as well, so it can be easily deleted. Here I'm just gonna be skimming the edges a little bit. The point over here is just to add some like rock erosion of sorts to it. And it doesn't look great right now, but over time you can get something that looks reasonable. Now we're gonna go in the eraser. We're already using the same brush. We're just gonna be deleting a lot of it. Can you guys hear the music in the stream? How's the audio, by the way? I really want to know the audio. No one's talking about the audio though. Alright. Alright. And there's probably a lot more noise we can add. We need to... If you go in the color picker, if you go over here and then you click on whatever color, it grabs that color. That's really useful. So I'm gonna go over here, I'm gonna hue shift a little bit towards red. Then I'm gonna be picking a darkerish color. Now we're gonna be painting this area when it was in the eraser. In this case, you're gonna be careful not to touch the yellow parts. And then again, we're going to be getting the eraser and erasing most of it. Just do a little bit with the pen, touch it a little bit, not fully, or else it will erase the thing.
Yo, what is up, people? It is I.
Someone hijacked the string, guys, help. Help.
I've came to take over the stream. This is me. I have came.
You came?
It's me, the Barack.
Hello, Barack.
I came. Yeah, hi, like...
You came?
I don't know. I don't know how to make this... I don't know how to make a joke, okay? What are you doing, anyways?
Making a level in Hedge physics. Alright. So... Okay, let me just talk on the stream a little bit. I'll talk to you right now, real quick. Okay, so right now we're almost done with this texture.
Hi, Bomb.
Oh, yeah, it's Bomb. We're almost done with this texture, and there's a lot more we can do. You can just explore around, fuck with effects and whatnot. Let me try a couple things. Again, I just pressed make a new layer and Ctrl.
Why does your stream says that you're?
What?
I'm sorry. Go on.
What does it say?
Why is your stream saying that you're playing Metal Gear Rising?
Oh, well, never mind. Okay, I'm not playing Metal Gear Rising. Okay, let me fuck with the effects a little bit. Okay, so I made a new chat. I made a new chat. A new layer. I press Ctrl Alt Shift and E to make a new layer like this. You know, this thing. You can just make a new layer. And now we can apply effects to it without altering what I had before. So if you go in, let's go into, it's, what is this thing? Sharpness and unsharp mask. Now you see this weird ass effect. Just play around it a little bit. I don't use this that often. It's better for like metal stuff usually for me. No, it's stuff like this. You know, it's a weird kind of effect, but you can achieve some interesting effect with it. We can just tweak it around. It's just sharpness, really. That's all that it is. And then you can just alpha a little bit. Fuck around. Yeah, like on this case, now we have like a little bit of like an edge glow to our edges without adding like any other Photoshop effects. Now I can also fuck around and go into the filters. And I know I'm lazing out, because technically I'm not supposed to do this, but it does work. And no one really noticed it. So I've used this this thing for FARC for ages. No one really complains. It mix and match a lot of things, and it's not exactly random. I do know what those effects do and what I'm doing. This is an effect that I usually like. More useful for making metallic maps, which we'll cover pretty soon. I guess this is fine. I mean, you've been adding a little bit more noise to it. I think I'm gonna go over here and add that one effect. It's
Nah.
usually those over
Okay,
here.
there you go.
Oh. We tried to talk this whole
it's
time.
Bomb. I mean, I've seen him logging in and I wanted to say hi, but you were talking.
Oh, that's fine. Let's
Okay.
go with this.
Hello, guys.
Hey.
Hey, Bomb. What's up?
How's
My
it
server
going?
isn't on the moon.
Oh, I have story to tell, but
Oh.
in a bit.
Okay. Your own stream too, don't forget about that. Alright, so playing with the blending modes,
What do you?
you're adding pretty much this only to the brown parts.
Hold on. What are you talking about?
Me?
You said my your own stream or something.
We're on stream.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Did you forget
I thought you
about
said.
it?
I thought you. No. I know that we were on stream. I thought you said your. I thought you said something like go to your stream or something. I don't
Oh,
have
no.
a stream.
Alright,
Oh
this is
shit!
pretty much...
I've been discovered.
What?
Yes, I'm using white theme. I'm using white theme on YouTube. Kill me, please.
Oh, well, I'm using the white theme because the dashboard doesn't allow the black theme. But for some reason the chat is black. Everything else is white. I don't get it.
No, that's
Anyways, this is our texture.
like-
Now we're gonna save it. So we're not gonna be saving the structures on the PNG format. We're gonna be saving it in a PSD format, which is the default Photoshop format. So what we have to do is that we need to go into. I'm just gonna put this over here. We need to
Wait.
go over into our Hedge Physics folder, whatever your engine is. In this case, I already have Hedge Physics open. Let me just get it real quick. Okay. Am I streaming the desktop? I think I am. Yeah, you can see Hedge Physics over there on Unity. It's already open. You can see all the things. Over here in Assets, I'm gonna be creating a new folder. It's gonna be Green Hal, whatever. I don't care. And now that we're over here, if you right click and you click Show an Explorer, it shows the folder. So over here, we're gonna copy this. We're gonna go back into Photoshop. We're gonna copy this thing over here at the top, Green Hall, and we're gonna call this texture checkboard. I don't have to type it like this. Checkboard. I don't know. I don't even know what it means. And we're gonna type alb of albedo, and we're gonna click enter and enter again. Now we have our texture inside of Unity. If we go inside of Unity again, it takes a little bit of time to get imported. There it is. So that's actually, if we go in the inspector, yeah, and it's right over here. I have several mip maps as well, which is the thing that it's used to get like several different resolutions of the same image, which is very useful. And several other things as well, such as the images that show in the distance are not a rescaled version, but a mip map, which is a rescaled, but it's saved in memory. Alright, what is it, dude?
Huh. I got Some Call Me Johnny's Metal Gear Rising review recommended to me.
Okay. Okay. Alright.
Okay.
So, there is a thing that we need to talk about that is very, very interesting, and it's called physically based rendering or physically based lighting. It's PBR, PBL, and it's going to be very useful for us. So let me get it. I'm going to get something. I'm going to get some examples and show you guys what it means. So I just want to get an image, dude. Google, please don't fuck this up. I think this
God damn,
image
there's so much
from
noise.
this one site shows me what it is. Oh, it's shitty. Alright, so let's go back to desktop. Come on. Right, so over here, essentially what image-based lighting does is that you in Unity are going to be placing a reflection probe, which is just a... It's going to be like an object that you're going to place inside of Unity. You're going to see what it means. And it essentially grabs a whole image of the scene and it pretty much translates this image into something that's going to be reflected by the object. But there are several things that we can be used to manipulate, sort of, not manipulate the image itself, but manipulate the way that object reflects it. Like, as far as I can tell, every object, in a way, is a mirror, because every atom reflects light. The reason why you see certain things differently, let me show you. Oh man.
Oh, I think I see what you're trying to say.
The Fresnel.
No, not from. I'm just gonna get a physically based rendering example.
Oh, okay.
Alright, so you see over here at the top how it gets blurry. The reason why it gets blurry is because the surface itself it's very much like this. Let me get this image. So in a sense, the surface of this object right over here is like this. It's very smooth, but the more you get towards this, the more the surface is like this. And so when the light rays hit it, it reflects differently every time. So that's why you get a more blurry looking image, like very diffuse. There's more to it. There's subsurface scattering and several other things, but in this case, since we're doing it with PBR lighting, we're not going to be using subsurface scattering. It's going to be mostly like this. So essentially, we can use a texture to manipulate which sections of the material are more smooth than others, which is going to be very useful. There's also metallicity, which I think it's the lack of subsurface scattering, which is when the light rays go through the object and reflect on something inside of it. Our skin does that a lot. Like, that's how human skin works. It's slightly transparent to a degree. So yeah, and we're gonna be using this to manipulate. We're gonna be using a map that manipulates this. Like, for example, in the wood over here, it's reflecting a little bit more, but certain areas of it could be reflecting less. I don't know if there's actually a good example over here, but this is basically PBR in a nutshell. And they're going to be using a texture to change which parts are going to be more blurry than others. And that's what we're going to be doing right now. So I like to make a metallicity map. You just get everything. Control Shift E again. Control Alt Shift E. It's a very complicated thing. I don't know how I got it memorized. Okay. Click on the thing, select it, control and click on it. Press control and click on it. See the thing that shows up? Select everything, control C. And if you press file new, it's gonna show up already in the right resolution. You go over here, control V. Now, what I try to use the most to get a metal map is go in image adjusts black and white. Now over here, we can adjust the black and white of the image based on whatever color we have. So for example, this part of the image is a lot more red, so if I make this darker, it makes that part darker. But this part is a lot more yellow, so if I get the yellows up, those parts become more darker. But there's a mix of yellow and red in both of them. In this case, since I tend to use the same map for metallicity and like the metal map and the smoothness map. So in this case, it's going to be, if we make it like this, essentially this part's going to be full metallic and fully reflective. But there's sliders and whatnot you can use to adjust it, but I don't want it to be like that, so I'm going to be adjusting a little bit more. Let me adjust the other sliders, see if we grab anything. No, it's mostly just red and yellow. So by doing this, what I kind of want to do is that I want this block to reflect more and be more smooth than this part, which is it's more rough. You know, this part is just more smooth in general because of the way the rock is or whatever. And then the edges, it would be nice to get them to reflect more, because then it would show the shape of the rock a lot better, which would be kind of nice. So now we just do this, and then if you go over here and curves, image adjust and curves, you can adjust things a little bit more. Do a slightly bit of tweaking. As far as I can tell, this part affects the lower colors of the image, like the darker colors, and this affects the lighter colors, I think. So it's complicated, but just keep adjusting it until you get a good looking image. I think this should be good. And this is gonna work. Alright, so I'm gonna save. The stem is gonna go in PNG. Let me check the name of the previous ones. Checkerboard. If you click on it, the name stays over here. Oops. Do not make the mistake on saving it as Pixar. I don't know what this format is, but it's an image format. Just save on PNG. And then save it as
Pixar.
metal. Alright, so there's more to do now. Now if we go over here again, and we're gonna copy this thing, gonna paste it over here, because now we're gonna be making people's favorite, the Neuroma map. Let's make a Neuroma map. Right, so here in black and white, now what we want is a kind of a height map of the image. So essentially things that are lower should be darker than things that are higher. So in this case, we're gonna just put the red down a little bit and the yellow up, so we get a thing. This is mostly it. And now if we go into over here, filters, 3D, and normal map. Now we can make a little normal map. You can also make a normal map out of like a grayscale image like this inside of Unity. Now over here, it's a little bit tough to tell, but to me it looks like the map, like the blocks are further down instead of further up. Hold on. Oh, someone's asking which engine they use for after the sequel. You can interrupt me, Brack, it's fine. Which engine? It's Sonic Worlds. It's all they're both also open source right now, so you can get those if you want to. You can find the links in the Discord server Hedgeland, or just type it in Google. You'll find it. But anyways, now over here, if you click on flip height, I think it's what it's called. Now we get a better look of things. Like this thing feels like it's above instead of below, like in this. We can also, like, you know, look at this sphere right over here. If you go over here and you change it to cube, except all the other edges and I'll lighten up, you can sort of get a preview of how it's going to look like. There's other things you can adjust here as well. I wouldn't recommend adjusting those things. I don't really get much of an effect with it. I recommend you adjust the, what is this, is the blur, I think? It blurs it out a little bit. It looks more plasticky like this, so I'm just gonna keep the blur low. There's also the scale of details. I don't recommend going for a really high scale. Go for like a medium sort of thing like this. Should be good enough, at least for the most part. But the problem is, if you look at over here, it sort of like has a little ramp. I don't want that, but that happens. Wait.
So is this only for Photoshop CC or CS6 as well?
I think it works. I think it works for CS6. If you can make normal maps inside of here, there's plenty of other free things you can use. Not that big of a deal. All right. So to fix this white thing, one thing that I can do is that I can go into, I think it's levels, just, and then there's levels, and you can adjust things like over here. Or maybe not. I don't remember. God, I forgot. Oh, there's another way. If you go over here, we can select all the pixels of this color by using this magic wand too. And what it does is that it selects all the pixels of the same color, unless you select this box. If you select this box, it only selects the pixels near it. If you don't, it selects every pixel in the scene that has a similar color. So in this case, you're going to be selecting all those pixels over here. This is not a foolproof thing. Not great. And then, if you go back to it, we can right click. And I don't know what this changes. It's an redefine edge, I think. And now you're going to see something more like this. And you just change the range a little bit. It diffuses a little bit, as you can see. If you have no range, it's completely sharp. If you don't, it's like that. Now we're gonna just grab this thing, make it this brush so it's faster. We're gonna select this color. With Alt, you can just select the color. You see that it changes a little over here. Zoom out, and then I paint it. Let's make it bigger. Not an amazing method, but it does work. Remove that little white thing. There's another white thing over there. I don't know what the fuck this is. Right, it can go to hell. There. Alright, now if you're going to 3D, then 3D. It's not 3D, there's a 3D button. No, going to filters, 3D, and normal map. Alright. invert altitude or whatever it's called. There's still this effect for those cubes. Not those cubes, those boxes. But it's fine, you're not gonna go for anything perfect. So I'm going to cube again. Now you can see it's a little bit better to a degree. It might be inverted. I actually don't know. It's the way the lighting is so weird. I'm not gonna ever get a good grasp on this. But as you can see over here, like it's a lot more rough because it's supposed to be rougher rock. All right, so if you click OK, and then a save, and then we're gonna be saving it as checkerboard. Or if you click on it, the name over here, click on this, the name over here becomes it. Just gonna change it to normal. Now we need a bump map. A bump map is somewhat similar to normals, but it's in black and white. It's like this, but it's a little bit different. For this, the Unity standard shader, you're not. It's complicated to get bump maps working. They need to be of a specific height, a specific color value, or whatever. But essentially, what you're going to be needing is another height map. So the higher a thing is, the brighter its color. In this case, I already have that. So we're just going to be changing the levels to get a good color. I think in the Unity height map, I'm not sure about this, but you have to set the colors to around over here, I believe, like around the middle, because that's going to be the base color. If it's anything below our bump map, is going to make the texture looks like it's going into it. It's complicated. It's really complicated. We're just going to put it around over here, 135, I think. And then we're going to be adjusting this a little bit to get a better map. I really hope this works. So we're just going to save it. PNG. Bump. All right. So we made this thing. What are we going to be doing now? Well, we're going to be doing the grass. And we're going to be lazing out with this one and just using this texture. Just going to getting this texture and making the grass out of it. I know this is cheapening out, but it's going to work. So we're going to go over here. I'm going to go into layer. Adjustment layer. New layer of adjustment, I think. And we're just going to go into gradient map. Let's click OK. I'm gonna get something weird. Anyways, what is it, dude?
Lag. There was a lot of lag right now in Discord and the stream. I think something was wrong.
Okay, so gradient maps are fun, but essentially what happens is that the color over here represents the darker pixels, and the color over here represents the lighter pixels. So you can adjust it and essentially get a neat image out of it. So in this case, you're gonna be making grass out of it. So I'm gonna be making like a lighter blue of sorts to be the darker parts. And the lighter parts are gonna be a green. So instance, let's not make it too saturated. Alright, now we can adjust things real quick. And it's reasonably nice. I really do like using gradient maps, it's fun.
I like those colors.
Okay. So, you know, this doesn't exactly look like grass, so we're gonna be applying some effects. If we press Ctrl-Shift-E again, we make a new layer. It's outside of the gradient map. Things about gradient maps too, I'm just making this layer invisible. Click over here, and you paint a black color over it. You're essentially painting a part of the picture that isn't affected by the gradient map. So you can get a gradient, place a gradient over it. It's fun. Okay, so over here, we're gonna be changing this a little bit to look more like grass. So I'm gonna be doing this. I'm gonna blur it out. What?
Literally Green Hill Zone.
Hope you like Green Hill. And then in the filter gallery,
it's real green.
There's this one effect that does this. And then I can just adjust things a little bit to get something that we want. And now it's this. So it's not. This isn't very good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy it and then I press Control Z. But Control Z doesn't work. What do I do now? Well, in Photoshop you can Control Alt Z to go back. Now we go back to this one. We Control V this one and copy and paste it. And now you can just fuck around.
You know, I never understood that. Why is Photoshop so special by having Control Alt Z?
Yeah, well, in Word, I think it just flat out doesn't work.
Although I do have to say, it is probably more
things.
convenient in terms of going backwards and forward when you switch between Alt and Shift for that. You know, I found it. I got used to it, and I think it's more comfortable than.
Control Y
Honestly, why
turns
do we
into
have
a semi thing. It's different.
Yeah, like
It likes to be different.
Control Y is. I don't know. Control Y starts to feel a bit like. It's kind of hard to reach though, both Control and Y at the same time.
Anyways, I'm gonna be explaining another thing. I kind of forgot to show this, but on certain patterns, it's not very viable to just make a pattern like this. What you're gonna want to do is we're gonna go over here, filters, others, and I think this is offset. In offset, let me set those values to 0. If you move this a little bit, you can see the rest of the image. And by doing so, you can paint over the areas where the pattern doesn't work very well, and then you can fix it over there. We're gonna be probably using this very soon, but okay, so this is gonna probably need a bit of noise because it's grass. It doesn't look like grass so far. Let's do something about it. I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do. I'll figure this one out. All right, so let me add a little bit of noise here. If you go in filters, noise, there's noise. There's actual noise. There's monochrome. I'm gonna be just using monochrome. I like to go with Gaussian noise. I don't know what it is. It just looks a prettier for noise. Then filter. I don't know. This is blurry and movement blur. It does this weird effect. Not a good idea. Really isn't. We're gonna getting something out of it. Oh, it's also really weird. Now we're gonna blur it again. Now we get something. It's not very good, but if we go over here, now we go in offset, the thing that we did before, and now we can see the parts where it doesn't intersect very well. So this is very useful tool in Photoshop. If people need to be using it, if you click it, it's this one. It's very good. I don't know what it's called. Let me select this brush. You hold Alt and you select. Let me just get this thing off. Yeah, you have to hold Alt and click anywhere, and essentially you're gonna be painting that part of the picture in the rest of the picture. It's very useful for reconstructing images and doing things like this. This is just an effect that I'm doing, it's not that big of a deal. Oh, I think this is not set to 100%, let me set to 100%. Alright, now as you can see over here, we're sort of reconstructing this area of the picture with another area. You see over there, there's another little thing. There, that's the area of the picture that we're painting over to a degree. This isn't perfect. It's gonna have some problems, but it does do its job. If you go over here again, an offset, there's still some areas that have it like that. Let me adjust it until I get to see them. Alright, so I'm just gonna do this with the mouse. Alright, so we get a thing. What I'm gonna be doing with this thing now, well, I actually don't know. I've never done something like this before. So we can just go into curves and to get a better contrast to this thing. Whatever, this should do it. And then we can use the settings to maybe fiddle with it, find something that works. Blending. This looks reasonable. It looks a lot more like grass now. And it also loops to a degree. So we can also adjust this again, because technically there's like darker patches, which I believe are the, I don't know, the darker areas. We can match them, I think. Okay, let me change this.
Well, that looks fitting for a rainy weather.
Rainy weather? Oh. Whatever it is, it should work.
Interesting.
It's a little grassy thing, just to make it look slightly like grass. Alright, so now we're gonna save it in PSD format, so we're just gonna call it green grass, and I'm gonna name it albedo, because the diffuse, or the color of the object in PBR lighting, it's usually called the albedo. So we're gonna go with that. Like, I think albedo is like the amount of light the object reflects. I think the moon, the Earth's moon, has a reasonably high albedo, for example. And other moons, like there's a moon of Saturn, I think, that has a very high albedo, so it reflects a lot of light. That's what it is, I think. So...
What's an albedo?
What's an albedo? It's the amount of light something reflects, I think. It's the same as diffuse.
Oh, okay.
Alright, so let's
Oh.
make the other maps now. I can
Okay.
copy this one
I think.
over here. Just copy this over here. I'm just gonna go fast through this. Since this is grass...
By the way, like, can I go off topic?
Yeah, okay. Do it. Okay! Since this is... Oh shit, fireworks. Okay, so since this is grass, I don't know exactly how shading on grass works, per se, so I'm just gonna go out of my own head and figure out that it's probably reasonably diffuse, but certain areas are more better. I really don't know. Fitting Green Hill music.
Oh, I wasn't listening to music.
Oh yeah, Brack, you wanna go off topic? You can go off topic.
Oh.
I said that you could.
You said, did you saw the bumper engine yet?
Yeah, it's linked on the server.
Hmm.
Yeah, I wanna do something.
What do
like
you
this.
think about it?
It looks good. That's what Hedge Physics was made for.
It was I've tried
Does
it out.
look alright.
I mean, I try to make it work with Unity, but it just it has problems.
They're probably using an older version of
it has
Unity,
to do
dude.
with my
Hello? I think you're cutting.
Can you hear me now?
I think.
Hello?
Hello? Barak?
Can you hear?
Yeah, you're cutting.
Can you hear me?
To a degree, I think.
Yeah, he's cutting.
I don't know, I'm trying to focus on this thing. Yeah, this should be good enough. I'll figure something out in game. This is a bad metallic map, it's gonna look like shit. So, we're gonna be going green, grass, metal. We're gonna be using the metallic setup of the shader. So. It's just the name of the texture, green grass, it's not the name of the zone, so. Do I like Green Hill? It's a level, I guess. I played it plenty of times.
He's BRB.
Yeah, I think he's having some issues. Alright, so let's grab this one again. Just gonna make a normal map. It's gonna be a shitty one. Since it's grass, like I think to get a more toony looking grass, you don't need a very emphasized normal map. You need a very simple one. So I'm gonna go normal map. And I'm not gonna make it too big. If anything, like super small. Yeah, like this. Oh, it kind of looks like clay. Might not even use a normal
Does
map for
kind of
this.
look like play.
This isn't my intention. I think we're not gonna be using a normal map for this one then.
Hey,
Might not even need it. I think this is good enough.
am I better now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes.
Right, you can
Can
talk
you hear
now.
me?
Yes. Alright, so now what? Well, let's go into modeling. But before that, Brack, you can speak, dude.
What?
You can say the things.
All I want to say is that I would try to download the bumper engine and it didn't work with my version of Unity. I don't know if it's the version or something else, but like, it said like vector free something.
Okay. I don't know.
By the
Then.
way, Unity works really well on this computer.
That's good.
Really well. Like I open it up in like seconds. It's amazing.
That's good. I miss those kinds of dash rings, dude. Everyone just uses like orange rings now. Like
Why?
where is the Sonic Heroes ones? They looked good. So the fuck's
Sonic
going on
Heroes
this
ones
spring?
were alright.
I modeled this. I also modeled this.
What about the Sonic 06 ones? They look pretty much similar to yours.
Yeah, no, like the Sonic Heroes kinds of rings. They dropped it
Basically,
in
the ones
Unleashed.
have.
They made it just
Yeah.
shitty orange rings. I hate it.
Yeah, but those were kind of weird. I feel like the cheap versions of like what was in Heroes.
Well, so we need to get into 3D modeling. So here's what we're gonna do. You open up Blender. See Blender? It can be mostly any version. Just go with the latest one. Things do change in Blender occasionally. But okay, so here I have Blender. Let me adjust the screen size so I could get it to fit reasonably well. I do have my Blender UI set up in a somewhat different way. We're gonna just be using this. So here's how you do it. What? I heard something.
I open up Unity.
Oh, you just
It says spline creator.cs or something.
oh yeah, I think the script broke.
Unity
Ask
engine
the guy
dot-
who made it which version he's using and I get the same one.
He did not respond to me yet.
Oh. No, when you start the engine, it shows which version it's made on before you import it.
Oh yeah, I know. I already imported it to my version, which is older. It was like
Oh, you can't be
He
using an
said
older
it was
version,
made-
man.
I have like 5.6.3, and his was like I don't remember.
Just don't use 2018 yet.
I'm using the fucking the VR chat version.
Well, anyways. Okay, let's do this thing. Okay, so Blender it's a complicated software to use, but it's very much worth it. You might be thinking, then if Blender's too complicated, then we'll use anything else. Well, first of all, Blender is free, and Blender doesn't use much of your computer's resources as much as like 3D Max or Maya. Maya is known for being incredibly heavy, and it just might not work on your shitty laptop. Just flat out, it's probably not gonna work. Did it work?
It didn't work for me.
Oh, it didn't.
It worked on an old desktop I had, but not on my laptop.
Yeah, but Blender is most likely going to work. It's not very heavy in general. And you know, it gets heavier as you add more things into your scene. But for most things, it's generally fine. And
That reminds me, I still have
second
not
of all-
installed Blender here.
and second of all, oh yeah, you should to get the thing to work, to get bumper engine to work, maybe. But anyways, Blender is also free, and Maya and 3D Max, if you really want to get a professional copy of those things or just a regular copy, you're probably gonna have to dish out a lot of money. They're not cheap softwares. They are pretty expensive. So just go for Blender. I know there's a little bit of a harder learning curve, and I don't think those softwares are much easier to begin with, personally. But once you get past the learning curve of Blender, it's smooth sailing. So, yeah. Okay, so Blender is a very shortcut-heavy software, and there are infographics on the internet you can use to get to know those things. But we're gonna be using them. We're gonna be figuring those out as we go. So here in Blender, you have your window, you have your scene view, and here's the thing about every Blender window. You see this thing, and this thing, and this thing, and this thing, and those are custom on my part. It's different for when you actually start. This is how things look for me, right? There's also those plus and minuses on the corner and whatnot. But essentially, every window in Blender is kind of the same thing. If you click over here, I can make this thing the same icon as the properties. So this thing now is here. So I have a different version of it, and it's all the way up here too. If we go into 3D view, we can see our scene window. So essentially every window is kind of the same, and you can add new windows. And this thing over here, there's a little thing you click on. If you click on it, I have two. If you click on it again, I have another one, and another one. So how do I fix this mess? Sometimes it's kind of complicated. If you go over here at the edge of it, there's an edge. You gotta click on right click and join area, and there's like an arrow that pops up. You just click it, and do it again, and do it again. This isn't always possible, I don't think, but it does work. So over here, there is the hierarchy view of sorts. Is just view everything that's in your scene, and here you have a little cube that you mostly start with. So here's some of the basics in Blender. To move the camera around, you hold the middle mouse button, and then you just move it around. Sometimes though the camera can get a little bit fucked, but still, if you press Shift and F, the camera goes into a first-person view, which you can use to move around. If you hold Shift, it goes faster. This is gonna be pretty useful. If you hold Q and E, you go up and down. But it can have problems, like it recenters the view. Now I'm just moving around. So how do I fix that? Well, as far as I can tell, there really isn't a way to fix that. But if you press the delete key in the numpad, not in everything else, the numpad, and make sure numlock is selected, you just zoom into a specific object, and now that becomes your new center. That's how you're gonna be moving around Blender generally. Right. So there's certain modes we can use. Over here we got moving. If you click on those arrows, you move the object. And there's rotation. And there's scaling. But we're not gonna be using much of those. We're mostly gonna be using movement. Because if you rescale the this is Control Z, by the way. If you rescale the object, it doesn't actually rescale the object. It rescales an object's transform, which is it's over here. It rescales this thing. You're not gonna be wanting that. What you want to do is edit the object to be bigger, which in this case it didn't change the scale. The scale is still 1, but if you go back, and this is Control Z, you go back to what it was before and rescale it over here, you see that it's bigger. We don't want to change this thing. We want to always keep this thing into 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Because this is going to cause problems for you later. Also, don't rotate it. If you're going to rotate it, you need to rotate in this thing over here right now, which we're going to talk about, and it's edit mode. So over here, we got object mode. And we'll talk about this thing real soon. Over here, we have several modes that we can use. There's texture paint, weight paint, vertex paint, scope mode, and edit mode. And object mode. We're currently in object mode, which is just used to select things and move things around. Texture paint is painting textures. It's complicated. I'm not going to talk about it right now. Weight painting is for bones. It's for rigging. It's for something else. Vertex painting we're going to be using later, and it's something else. It's very interesting. It's an ancient technique used in the PS2 era and N64 era. It's fantastic. Sculpt mode is for sculpting. If you really want to do it, it's sculpting. If you go over here, you have several tools that you can use. In this case, our cube is just a fucking cube, so you're not gonna have much out of it. Just gonna be using object mode and edit mode. That's what we're gonna be using for now. So if you press tab, you switch from one to another. You can notice which mode it is based on how the cube looks, because you're gonna have certain edges around it. There are certain modes of edit mode. Over here in the bottom, let's go over here first. Click on this thing, which is transform. You can technically click on all of them and have this thing. If you hold shift, it selects all of them. But I'm just gonna be using this one for now. Right, you can also click shift over here, but whatever. Now we have several modes that we can use. We can use a vertice select, selects the vertices. And now we can move our vertices. Right? And then there's an edge select, which selects the edge, and then you move the edges. And then you have the face select, which selects the faces. Ancient techniques, sometimes long forgotten. It is true. It is a forgotten technique. It's not by default in most softwares. So it actually took me a while to figure out like how did they do like shadows and whatnot in older games. And then I figured out, oh, it's worth explaining. Oh. Anyways. Now, we got several things we can do over here. In this case, we're just gonna... You'd be using this cube as a reference for the player. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna click this edge, which you click an edge by right-clicking. And we're gonna be going over here, and you use the mouse wheel to scroll up, down, or whatever. And that should be obvious. Just gonna scroll this up a little bit. And now, I'm gonna be pressing A to select everything, and pressing A to select everything again. Now we're gonna press Shift and D, and then we create another cube. Now we're gonna be adjusting this cube, and making this part our jump reference. Now this is gonna work as our player reference. So when we're gonna put the level inside of Unity, we're gonna rescale the level so it's this cube is the size of Sonic. Alright. So this is gonna be basically Sonic. This is the size of Sonic, and this is how high Sonic can jump. Generally, we also should adjust this based on how the jump is inside of Unity. This is just an estimate. Really, I don't know if it's actually like this. But this is our scale for things. That you could just move this cube around and figure out like, I'm gonna make a platform over here, so I want it to be this height. So Sonic can jump over it and whatnot. Right, so here's how you create a new object. You see this thing? Whenever this thing is, a new object's gonna be created at. So there's a good idea that you should be doing is that you press Shift and C. It changes the camera and it centers this thing in the center of the world. So you type Shift and A, and now you have add. And Blender is very shortcut heavy. You're gonna have to eventually memorize those, but with practice, you're just gonna figure things out. And, you know, note them down somewhere and just check them. And because of Blender's shortcut heaviness, making things on it over time is actually like reasonably faster, at least it is to me. So, you know, we can create a monkey if you want to. Or there's a monkey. Not gonna be making a monkey though. So I'm gonna be going over here and I'm gonna be creating a plane. Now I have a plane that's right under everything. Oh, and by the way, by default, over here, it has this thing unchecked. That means you can see back faces. Back faces are the other sides of triangles. Generally, select this, because inside of Unity, back faces are not rendered. So you want this to be as close as possible to what it's going to look like in Unity. So you don't want that. So okay, so I have a plane created over there. Now let's move this thing around over there just so we can start. This is going to be the start of our stage. The plan, in my opinion, was sort of make a similar thing to how the beginning of, you know, that one like our area at the beginning of the stage in Sonic Utopia. It was sort of supposed to be kind of like that. So we're going to be doing this. Right, so we're going to press tab to go into edit mode. And now we're selecting faces. Select face. I'm going to press S. S is the same as this. So instead of just rescaling it over here, we're going to be going back into transform and pressing S to rescale it. So that's nice. We'll make a little entrance area. Right. So now we're going to go into edge select. Make this. How's this? Well, you select the edges and then you press the E key on the keyboard and then you extrude. However, you see that when you press the E key, it goes up, but oh, it was just an illusion. It looks like it's going right up, but it's actually not. So here's what you do. You just press E and you just press E and you click anywhere else. And then you move this thing up. Now it's actually going up. This is a very good idea. Now, the keys for moving is S for scale, R for rotating, and everything is based on the screen, as far as I can tell anyways. So if you rotate down here, you can see the way it rotates. If you rotate right at the corner, it rotates like this, but if you rotate right at the top, it's like that. So you gotta make sure that that's how things work, and how to move the camera right. Okay, so in the numpad, if you press the buttons in the numpad, the camera goes into specific places. And this is really good, because here's what you can do. If you press 5, you go into an orthographic view, which essentially makes everything like it is in Sonic 3D Blast. It's essentially the same thing. So it's, you know, isometric games, it's usually like isometric games. So if you go over here and we rotate, then it rotates precisely sideways. And if you go upwards and you rotate, it rotates precisely around sideways like this, or in the middle. I don't know. And also for moving, this is very useful, because moving is also related to the position of the camera. So if you move it like this, if you actually look at it, it's kind of skewed. Alright, so let's go this and let's move up. It looks like it's going up, but it's skewed. So what we do is that we go into over here, press 5 to go into orthographic, and then you move up, and it actually goes up. So now, considering Sonic's jump height, I'm gonna be moving this thing over here. It's fucking modern art. Yeah, it's a little modern art. So over here now, we're gonna be pressing E again, and then I'm gonna be pressing S, and I'm gonna scale this. I'm just gonna be moving back to the degree, and like sometimes the edges might not be perfectly lined up. So here's what you do. There's other options over here that you can do to do that. What I like to do is that I go into scale, and I do this. It lines up eventually. That's the thing. Now over here, you go. And this is an edge select mode. You can change between modes at will. If you extrude faces, you press E, it does this, which is very nice. You can also extrude and press S to go inwards, and then you press E again, and you make a little hole. Very useful. Alright, so we're gonna get this thing now. We're gonna make sort of a border of our area. Now we're gonna get this. And by the way I selected everything, I click this one, I press Control, and I click on this one. It's right click to select, by the way. Regular left click is gonna place this thing around. And it's pretty much placed whenever you click it to be. Once you click nowhere, and then it's just placed whatever. So make sure, like over here, I clicked over here, now it's right on top of this thing. Alright, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna extrude this. And then I'm gonna show you guys something very useful. If we go into edge select mode, you go over here, and then click here. There's a little key that we're gonna be able to press that is very useful. It's W. There's a lot of things in here. For example, let me click edge. If I click subdivide, it subdivides the edges. But this is a little bit, not the edges, the faces. It's a little bit weird because it's gonna have some issues, but this, you know, it can be used to make a little dent in it. So yeah, we're gonna be using more of this later. So far, we're not gonna be using it, but we're gonna be using this. I'm gonna go into merge and at last. This means that when I click an edge and I click another edge, vertice, we're going to merge, and it's like there's at first, which is the first one that I selected. There's at center, and there is merge and last. Also, by the way, never press the H key. If you press the H key, shit goes invisible. You're never gonna be able to find it ever again. Don't press the H key. So, and I guess the H key is kind of a meme. But now this thing's a little bit off-centered. Like, oh, not off-centered, just not lined up. You can do that same thing again. Hold Control, it selects all of them once. So now I did the same thing over here. Merge at last. Do this over here, select it, and then just keep scaling it down several times. Not way too much, or else it's just not gonna work. It's several times. Now I made a little area where you start off. And then we can keep going. Now I'm gonna sort of like, there's like a river over here in Utopia. Let's try doing that. So if I extrude, selecting the faces, it does this. There's more faces, so we do select them and we delete. So when you select delete, you have to delete several. There's several things you can delete. If you delete vertices, deletes a lot more than you wanted to delete. So we're gonna select delete and delete faces. Nothing else, just faces. So we're gonna go back here again, select it, and delete faces again. Over here, we're gonna extrude this again. Sort of make the entrance to the river, whatever. It's gonna be deleting it. I'll make the river bigger. We're not gonna make underwater physics. It's just gonna be for show, really, for now anyways. Now there's a very important thing that you need to be taught, and those are loop cuts. Loop cuts are fantastic, and you're gonna have to know about them. If you press Control R, and this thing only works in squares. So because polygons in 2D, they're triangles, so this thing is essentially a triangle. It's like this, let me show you. If you press F, it welds faces. So a face is this. It's two triangles. You press F, it becomes the same one if you press F. But anyways, now we're gonna be using loop cuts. It only works in squares, in quads, that's all they're called. So if you press Control R, now you can see that there's a little face over there. If you press the scroll wheel key, you get several of them. This is very useful. You can do those almost anywhere that there are squares. Like for example, over here, I do them, but those are triangles, so it stops. Now I'm just putting a loop cut over here, and by using this loop cut, I can do something like this, for example. In this case, what I wanted to do is just move this thing back a little bit. And now we're gonna be merging faces again, or vertices. Merge, 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 and merge. Now I can go over here and extrude. Now I sort of make a little dent, a little river. There's like a little part over here that we can go to the side. And if we select our cube, our little Sonic reference, we need to sort of see how things are going. But the thing is, it's just kind of like in a flat plane. It's hard to see where it is. So if you go over here in this menu towards the side, you go down, go into shading, and you go click on the ambiental occlusion. This is a little bit heavy, but it's doable. I'm gonna set the strength to 3, because this is just to orient yourself. And then you set distance to something like 20, and or maybe 10 in this case. 100, 10. Sample, just stay on 20. Maybe it doesn't matter too much. Oh shit, I wanna sneeze. I wanna fucking sneeze.
Sneeze.
I can't.
Look at the sun. Look.
There is no sun. I'm inside.
Oh shit, yeah.
Oh shit, it's actually kind of cloudy, I think. But anyways.
Why would looking at the sun work?
By using ambiental occlusion, you can sort of see if a thing is near another, because it creates those shadows around things. I'm gonna be disabling it for now, but it is a useful effect for orienting yourself, really. Over here, I can sort of tell things are not purely aligned, but it's fine. Okay, so let's do something a little bit more complicated. Let's add a little slope into the stage. We can add a slope inside the mesh itself, just figuring out like a slope over here, or something like that. But we don't have to do that. We're gonna be just adding a slope outside of it, just because. So here's what you're gonna do. We're gonna click on it, click on this thing over here, which puts the cursor over there. You got adding a cube. So, you know what, let's start with a plane. So I have a little plane. Let me move it outside because this isn't very good. So I have a plane. Now we're gonna select the face, and we're gonna extrude. Wait, hold on a second, this isn't right. It looks like I'm seeing the cube from the inside. So if you get something like this, is how you do. You press A twice, select everything, and you click on flip normals. This flips the orientation of the face. For example, if we click flip normals over here, we can't see it down here, but we can see it down here, but we can see it up here. Flip normals. This is very useful, and if you ever find out that a face isn't showing, but somehow it's still there, like you still see the little square, and you can only see that square in face view, Not in face view, but in face mode. You can actually select both of them at the same time, but it's a bit confusing. So just go with that. Flip normals. Alright, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna be making a slope without using any modifiers or anything like that. It's just gonna be a simple slope just to teach you how to do things. But generally, there is a better way of doing this. I'm just gonna be teaching like this just to get a point across. So it's gonna be moving things around. And I'm gonna be deleting this because I'm not gonna be using this area. The bottom of it. I'm gonna go over here, Control R, which is loop cut. And then I'm gonna be using the scroll wheel several times. And be aware that air slopes sometimes will have to be reasonably high poly. So we're gonna go over here now. Oh shit, my eye. I got a little bit of dust in it. So anyways, now we're gonna go over here in this magnet. I've been here for an hour already. I'm gonna be here for like an hour more, I think. I'm gonna click on this magnet over here. Wait, no, we're not gonna be clicking on this magnet over here. We're gonna be over here and this little ball, and you're gonna be selecting connected. This is proportional editing, and it's very interesting because it edits based on what it is around it to a degree. You're gonna see it. I usually go into connected, just because it's how I prefer it, but you can go into enable, which just connected essentially changes the vertices that are around you and not others. I know it's hard to explain this very badly, but you see what I mean. So when I click G to move, which is just moving, or when I just move around, you see there's this circle over here. See the circle right over here? Well, if I click G to move again, and I move the scroll wheel, now it gets bigger. Now we're gonna make it around the size of our slope, and we're gonna be moving it around. See what I did here? Got a little slope. And if we rotate, it also does things. So be careful with that. Now I have our little slope. But there's a problem. Oh, first of all, there's several problems. Let's fix those first. And one of the problems is this. This isn't right. So if you select all of those faces, go over here. Whoops. Don't forget to disable this thing. If you go over here. That's like that. And there's several faces over here too, which make this thing of a higher poly count. To fix it, you can select both of them, merge at last. Or whatever, it can just be anything. Now it has a lot less faces, but this is the amount that you're gonna get. And by the way, if you do this, it's not one face, it's still several faces. So this is selecting everything and pressing F. It's still several faces. This isn't gonna work. Just leave it as triangles for now. At least as far as I can tell, this thing allows loop cuts. Oh no, it doesn't. Oh, never mind. But aside from that, there's another problem. If you actually look at the slope, you can sort of see that it's a little bit blocky. There's like several steps over here that you can see. That isn't right. That's not how things work. Well, now I'm gonna have to introduce you guys to normals. And normals are very interesting. Well, there is a way to display them, I think. Where was it? Let me look into how to display normals. It was somewhere, I'm sure. Maybe it's on edit mode. Oh, there he goes. Okay, so oh, wow. The hell? Oh, this is funny. Yeah, let's go with face normals. So normals are very interesting. Essentially, they are the direction of faces pointing towards. That is what they are. There's more to show over here, I think. Well, they are the direction of faces pointing towards, and the thing is, when a face is like this, and you can see several different points, the normals are just pointing in that direction. So one thing that we can do is that we can interpolate the normals between one to another. So you see that this normal is pointing this direction, it's more normal pointing this direction. What we can do... What the hell is this? Oh, never mind. What we can do is that we can have several other normals interpolating from this one to this one. And the way we do that, first of all, one thing that you can do is select auto smooth, which is good. It's not very... I caught it on his knees. This sucks so much. I want to sneeze. Oh, fuck it. Select autos move, but nothing happens. That's fine. Now here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna select. Like, should have planned this before I create. Of course, I never plan shit. Select all of them. If you hold one and then you press Control, it selects all the others in around the place. And you go over here. And shades move. W. By the way, press W. It's like shades move. And now you can see that it's smooth looking. So if I go back again and apply shade flat, it's that. Now shades move. It's not like that. Now it's smooth, but don't go select everything in shades move. Because you have auto smooth selected, it's not gonna happen. But if everything is wrong and you don't select auto smooth, this happens. You don't want to get this monstrosity. However, there are ways of fixing it. I'm not gonna go over those right now, but this is it for now. So let's go back. Sorry, auto smooth and set it to like 30 degrees. But no, we're not gonna be setting everything to it. We can still have this at 99. This is the angle of the smoothing. So if we change it, let's set everything. Shade smooth. If we change it, now it changes the threshold. Like for example, you see over there, it becomes that depending on the angle threshold of it. Just gonna set it to 99. It does this again. We're gonna change everything. Set flat. Now it's flat. If we select everything again, and only this area are gonna be set to shades move. Now it doesn't happen. Now it's fine. It's gonna be placed to this little slope somewhere. Now we need it to get in the ground. So put it somewhere. That should work. And by the way, you move the mesh outside of edit mode. This point is the center of the mesh. If you move the mesh in edit mode, the center is still over here. So you make sure that you're moving the mesh right. I hate this. Am I getting a code? Alright, so let's stop the normals. There's also this. Wow. Alright. Oh, okay. So let's save our mesh in whatever it is. Over here, we can go into Green Hall, which is our folder, show in Explorer, and it shows up in Explorer. You click it, and then you go over here, you select everything, Ctrl C and then Ctrl V, you're in it. And then it's just type Green Hill Mesh. And over here, Quid can show us how I made Fark. Maybe you should just leave this on a community. So let's go into texturing. That's a fun thing. Nobody likes texturing, but it's fairly easy. It's just time consuming. In this case, it isn't. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do this. We're gonna get this part, push it over here. And now over here, you're gonna go into UV image editor. Now you see this thing? Doesn't mean much yet, but over here, let me just put those things back. We're gonna select those faces over here, and then we're gonna be pressing this button. Now we're gonna press U and unwrap. You can do unwrap, or in this case I like to do project from view, which project from view is interesting. You see the way we're seeing this mesh over here? Everything that is selected. If I click project from view, not bounce, it's project from view, it becomes this exactly. So project from view just projects what you're seeing right now into over here. Alright, let me explain textures real quick. This is a UV map, essentially, and whatever is in here is gonna be the section. Oh god, I'm having problems. Okay, so if you go over here and open, we can open up the textures that we're gonna be using in it. And Blender does support PSD formats, so that's good. So we're gonna selecting the green grass albedo. Now I've selected it, and if you go over here and you just click on it, while this thing is selected and here is selected, it should be setting this texture to this thing, but nothing happens. Why? Well, if you go over here, you need to go into texture. This is this little box over here. Sometimes though, there might be a a lamp and you're seeing like a sun. And this is gonna mess with things a little bit. So you delete the fucking sun. And now you just see this. If you wanna be able to see things a little bit better, you can enable ambiental occlusion. Now it's a little bit easier to see things. But now that we are in this view again, in edit mode, it's in edit mode that I do this. Right, you press U, and then project from view. You can do also project from view bounds, which is something else too. But now, all controls over here are exactly the same as before. G, S, rotation. And you can see that what we're seeing here changes what it is here. For example, you see that this edge over here is at the end of this cube. Whoa, it's over here too. This thing is kind of like a 2D projection of what part of the texture you're going to be rendering here. So let's go and rescale it. Keep in mind the size of Sonic. You see Sonic over here. Keep in mind the size of him. Another good idea is to align things. Since this is a kind of a checkerboard pattern, we can align your checkerboard pattern with the corner over here. And you just, if you move something around, then you hold the shift key, it moves lower, so you can use that for better precision. And if you press G and you press X, it only moves in X, and if you press Y, it only moves in Y. It's really useful too. Now, it's not going to always be good. Sometimes it's just not going to work, but it's fine. So over here, it's supposed to be a river, so I'm not going to be doing much about it. Not going to be selecting those. If you press Z, it goes back to, it changes between wireframe and solid view, and if you press Alt Z, it goes into texture. Or you can just go over here. That's fine. Alright, so go over here. I'm gonna do another project from view. Did we do anything wrong? No. Alright, so we're gonna be selecting this texture again. God. You can, or you can just go over here.
I just woke up.
No, you didn't. Wait, did you fall asleep?
Yeah, I fell asleep.
No streams aren't that bad. No, they're fucking awful.
It's not the sun. It's the stream. Or I think I'm just tired because I don't think I've had that much sleep lately.
That's fine. Okay, so here's another tip. If you press C, your cursor becomes this, and you can adjust the size with the scroll wheel, and you can just paint and get whatever faces you want to get. This is very useful. Now I'm gonna do a different kind of UV mapping, whatever. I'm just gonna press U, and I'm going to reset. What it does is that it makes every face a square, just a pure square in the projection. So I'm gonna go over here in the UV map or whatever. Let's go over here and click on this one. Now you see what happened in there? Everything just became a square based on what it is. This isn't very good, but this can be pretty useful. So we're gonna select everything. I'm gonna go over here, press S, and I'm gonna press the number 3. It triples our scale. But you know, this isn't great per se, so we're gonna be adjusting things. You press U and reset. You set certain things that don't need to be too big, but what they should be. Like, for example, I press S and 2, duplicates the scale. Here, it doesn't have to be as big, so reset, S2, reset, S2. Over here, it's fine if it's 3, but it is a little bit skewed, stretched, I mean. So you press S, X, and then 2. I know it's complicated, but that's how it sort of looks. Now this area, it's kind of weird, right? So select all of it, except for this one at the bottom. Position the view like this, you project from view bounds. And now it's essentially a square, but it's a square made of several things. And now you can press S and then 3, or S and then 4. That does that. Now over here, select all those. Oh, Brock, you can speak if you want to. Now S and then 4. Now I got a thing here. You could just press S and then X. It just moves it horizontally. And now we get a thing. Over here, because the project from view as it did before, whatever. X, S, Y. Now guys, seeing what we're getting over here? You're getting your little shitty green hill. It's a little green hill. There are certain problems, like over here, the pattern doesn't match all that well. If I'm gonna go over here, press R and 128. did nothing. R and
Colors
90.
remind me of
There we go.
SRB2.
To a degree, yeah, I'm getting that vibe too. Now you're just gonna be doing this thing with those things too. Let me just move this window a little bit over here. Oops. You have to be on this window or else it doesn't work, so be careful with that. Sometimes though, for example, over here I'm pressing S and X, it moves in the wrong direction. Sometimes the faces just get flipped, so you're gonna have to be careful with that. Looks very SRB2. This is gonna be the extent of the level. I'm not gonna be doing much more. We're gonna be doing a couple things though. So over here, projection view, bounce, again, S3. Alright, so how do we do the UV mapping on the slope? Oh, we just do it. Always press Ctrl S and save. Always keep your thing saved. Blender is really fast at saving, so it's fine. So over here, at the slope, we're gonna go over here, select this whole area, and we can do it in several ways. If you do unwrap, it just goes into the bottom, which is fine because this is exactly what we're gonna do. Oops, this isn't what I should be doing. Oh yeah, I also noticed that if you go over here, this face is sort of like poking out. So the way you fix it is just by going over here. And I went to the side view like this. And this thing might make you a little bit nauseating, but it's fine. Alright, so if you go over here, and you press, let's go over here, you project from view bounds. The thing is that this project from view just projects what you're seeing over here. If you click bounds, it fills the whole thing. And that's good because now if you go over here, this is what you see. Now if you go over here, we change it to grass, and now we adjust things. This isn't gonna work, so we do it in Y. Now just make sure that that part fits over there very well. This part over here, the ground, see that it's not mashing very well. The way to make it mesh well is really just to put it in the right place. Really, I don't think there's exactly a particularly better way of doing this. Just put it in the right place. Like that. Now it fits a lot better. Towards the side, we're going to be doing a project from view as well. There's no way to complicate this. Just go over here, project from view. Let's do a bounce projection. Alright. So make sure you adjust things. How does it look?
About in place, except the fact that one of the tiles is shorter than the rest, but
yeah, you can't get things to be really well, but if you look at over here at front, most people are not gonna notice it.
To be honest, Utopia has that as well.
Yeah, it does. It's an imperfection you're gonna have to deal with. If you look for it, you're gonna be noticing this in AAA games as well. Alright,
yeah,
so
it's pretty much it.
Alright, so there are more things you're gonna be doing. There's a couple more things. You're gonna be making our own water shader. It's gonna be fun. So we're gonna be making a mesh plane.
Maybe you want to flip it in the front.
So we're gonna be scaling this or scaling over that way. No, gotta be in edit mode. Press tab, people. Good. So this is gonna be the water basically. Let's position it in a good way. Now, some people like to add sort of like making the place a little bit less blocky, and if you move this thing here, for example, it doesn't work very well. It's still blocky. So let's make a little bump on the ground over here, like a little bit of a slope. This is a lot more complicated, and it has chances of fucking things up, but it is doable. So we're gonna be selecting those two faces, and I'm gonna be going solid view and stopping a bit into occlusion just so we know how we're going. We're going to be pressing W and subdivide. Subdivide, subdivide, and subdivide. This is bad, by the way. This isn't very good. This isn't how you should be doing things, but this is going to work. All right, so we have this. This is pretty
This is
damn high
looking
poly. What? Anyone say anything?
Bomb. Yeah, I heard it too.
Anyways, now we're gonna go into proportional editing again, connected, and we're gonna be fixing this high poly mess soon enough. There's several ways of doing it, but so far I don't want to get into modifiers. We're gonna be doing modifiers soon enough, but so far we're not gonna be doing it. So over here we can make a little bump on the surface. There's several ways of doing this. This is just one of them, really. So
Oh yeah, I wanted to tell you something cool. Oh, or I don't know.
Alright, oh hold on a second first. Let me just do the bumps. Now you can see we have a little bumps, but they look kind of blocky. If I go over here in auto smooth again, it should work. Set everything to smooth. And now they're smoother. Now how do I fix this mess? Well, you can use modifiers, or you can just fix it manually. By manually I mean welding vertices like this. And by the way, this area over here is a whole bunch of triangles. Like there's a whole bunch of triangles here that makes this one supposed quad. But one way of fixing it is going to modifiers, and over here there's the modifier window. I'm gonna be going more over it later, but if you go into decimate and you go into planar, set it to like 2 degrees. Click on L boundaries and click on UVs. Now if you go over here, now things are a little bit better, I guess. How the hell do you make them show again? Because if we go into triangulate, and now we can see how the mesh actually is. You see now all those whole bunch of quads here, completely gone. It's just a whole bunch of that. Then again, you can set this to 1, something like that, to make it better. Don't forget to add a triangulate. Usually you place it before the thing.
Hello?
Hello, brother. Still alive? This sort of works. It's not a great method, but it is a method nonetheless.
Hey, bomb.
Bomb? Bomb dead. So over here, it's not, this thing isn't exactly like very high poly. It's very low poly to a degree. So if you want a very smooth surface, you're gonna have to make it more high poly. And I mean, this fucking mess is a mistake.
Like, why are you muted?
Am I? Oh, I pressed the button.
Oh.
Yeah, if I press left shift, it mutes. It mutes, yeah. But I'm not muted in the stream, so it's fine.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
I was wondering why I stopped hearing you for a second.
Okay, so those faces over here, they're an absolute mess. Because there's several other triangles messing with it. So they're not just quads. They're not quads, there's several triangles into one, then they're just not showing you them. If you actually go into wireframe view with the triangulate modifier turned on, you can actually see what they actually are, and you can sort of see the edges over here. That is what they actually are. So be careful with messing with those. Things can get kind of bad. Like for example, over here, I can't even add a loop cut. That's a problem. Also, it's a problem that the decimate thing does this sometimes. I don't know what that is. It just does it. I don't know why. And in that case, it fucked the UVs. If you don't use UV mode over here, things can look a bit odd. In this case, it's actually not looking too bad.
Even UV basically textures.
Yeah. But over here, for example, faces, it says 424. If you deactivate it, if you set this thing to 0, it's 1,000 faces. Set it to 1, now it's 400. The higher is our angle over here, the less high poly it becomes. Yes. I don't know. Yeah. So, I think this is it for now. When it comes to art stage, I'm gonna be doing one thing though. This thing isn't exactly that amazing. So if you wanna, if you wanna do those kinds of bumps, the best idea really is to just merge vertices manually. And if you merge, and if you go over here and you click UVs, usually the UVs are fine. It's on this menu. It's right down here. Sometimes it's bad to see. And it's
Yep,
probably
equally.
also better to do this kind of deformation before you do the UVs too. This isn't ideal, it's a very... It sucks to deal with, it's reasonably complicated, it's actually a pretty complicated thing. And then Decimate does this sort of shit. I wish it didn't do it, but it does do it sometimes. Also, the order matters. Keep triangulate before it. I like to set it on beauty and beauty. But who knows? Yeah, it changes things sometimes. Alright, so you see the water plane getting
Make
into it.
yourself muted.
What? Whatever.
You
So-
pressed it again.
Ah, it's the shift key. Left shift.
You can
Why-
click button again.
Why
Huh?
do you have a permanent mute button?
Because of VR chat.
Oh,
Of course.
but why is it set for Discord?
Because Brack. Anyways. And I know like Decimate does this sometimes, but as far as I can tell it's because it's based on your face. So at some point you're gonna continue on the stage and this is not gonna be as visible, especially if you close everything together. And as far as I can tell, there are ways of fixing this. For example, if you just move this thing around a little bit, it's not... Wait, it's still there. What? Just completely destroying the fucking quad. God. Edge. If I delete the edge, there's a new edge over here, and I do this. Oh, it still does it. This is an imperfect method. I don't particularly use it all the time, but it is one. And I'm gonna stop using it for now. I'm gonna leave this fucking mess. I'm gonna try to fix it manually. All I'm really gonna do is that I'm just gonna go over here and weld those things. That's fine. No? Oh, no, it's not gonna work. Oof. Oh, this is a problem, because there was a thing that I wanted to do, but I might not be able to. I'm still gonna be able to. So, I'm gonna be doing a thing before we go into Unity, and it's not gonna show up on Unity until we do a certain thing. This is the last thing we're gonna be doing for today, but I'm gonna be rushing through this mostly, but let's go over here, and then we're gonna go into Vertex Paint, and then we're going to...
Oh no.
It's Vertex painting. Vertex. Not Weight. Weight does this. Vertex. So we're going over here in new. And by the way, we're on textured mode. And we're not in this
Most
mode.
of the main cast dies in Infinity War.
Good.
What the fuck, Apple?
Fuck you.
I mean, I already knew that. I watched the movie, but goddamn.
You see, the movie's out?
Yeah, dude.
I don't fucking know.
I
I don't
wasn't
watch
even-
Marvel.
I was in a premiere.
I honestly, that was just a guess. Thank you, Brock.
Oh, what the no! I'm gonna dislike your video now.
Oh, that's a first.
I saw that.
Spoilers are okay at hedgeland.com. Anyways, so over here in Vertex Paint, we're gonna be doing a thing that isn't very nice, but it is a thing. So we're gonna be setting our color to red, and then we're gonna just be going over here, dropping the color. You'll have red in here. If you go in here, whatever, you click in here, you can adjust the values. You're gonna make everything red. So we're gonna go in Paint, and then we're gonna go in Paint and set vertex color. Now everything's fucking red. This isn't ideal. This is not what I want to do. What I want to do instead is that if I go into green, and I'm just gonna make it full green. Now we're going to this mode, and it's hard to see things, but we're gonna be painting the edges. That are gonna be seeing what we're gonna be doing this inside of Unity soon enough.
You know, this reminds me of like that one scene from Psychometric 2 where it's like, so how did you know the emerald was fake?
Yes, it is that scene.
My god.
Alright, and
Wait,
now you can
why are
see
you
what we
doing
did over
the
here.
paint?
We're gonna be doing a thing with this later. Right now, if we just go back to things to normal, it looks odd And there might be a way to not show those things. I don't know where, but so far this is going to be ignored inside of Unity. So I'm just going to press Ctrl S, and then they're going to go inside of Unity.
Wait,
That's-
is
it's
this wave
important.
painting?
No.
What are you doing?
Hold on, you're going to see. Okay, so here we have the stage. We're going to be stopping the stage. Not stopping, setting the stage inactive, so it's gone. But the player is still there with the UI and everything. So if you go over here, it's Sonic. If you press F on Unity, it goes into Sonic. And I'm going to be assuming here that you know most things about Unity. Not most things, but the basics of Unity. I don't really have much time to explain Unity now. It's mostly about Blender. But now I have a Green Hill Mesh. It's right over here. We're going to copy this thing and we're going to put it over here. Anywhere, really. Everything is a bit dark and you can't see things. But if you go over here and you click this, it disables all lighting and it creates only one light that is in the position of the player. And you're going to be using it to just figure out everything is before you add a sun to the scene. What? Well, since the center of the scene is right over there, I'm gonna be putting this thing in here. Fun fact, if you press Alt G, it resets to the main position, to the start position. I'm gonna be saving it. Now, we have the Green Hill Mesh. This is the stage, and I'm gonna be first creating an empty object, resetting it to whatever position it is. This resets the transform to 0, which is right over here. Call this, it's the big ass caps lock stage, and I'm putting Green Hill object inside of it. Now we're gonna be moving this thing in here, where Sonic is. And then this is the thing that we're setting into scale based on Sonic, so we have to rescale this thing to fit Sonic. I guess 0.44. 0.4 should do. It's a good number that we can use for most of our scenes later on. Now we have this. Now we need to add a sun. So we're gonna go into. Hold on, let me check. That's fine. In objects, 3D objects. Now lights, and we add a directional light. Now I have a sun added to the scene. And there it is. You have to move it in. That's where it is. Okay, so let me adjust the angle a little bit. Put it in a good angle. Now we're gonna be adjusting the intensity. I like to put it like 1.2 or something like that. 1.2. And then the color, I usually like to put it towards like yellowish. Because the way the atmosphere works, the sun usually looks a little bit yellowish. It's white in space, but on the Earth it's yellowish. So I wanted to be more of what color it is. And by default in Unity it's like this too. Now with shadows I'm gonna set it to soft. I'm gonna be putting it a little bit more just so it looks a little bit better. Alright. Now, one thing that people get wrong a lot is that they don't really work with ambient lights. So if you go into window and you go into lighting, whatever it is, over here, and it should be settings. If you go over here, there are several ways you can set the ambiental light. You can set it to a color, and the ambiental light is very interesting because the ambiental light is essentially the light that's coming from everywhere but the sun, like the sky, or the ground, or anywhere. And you know, in reality, you have a blue light coming from the sun that is lighting, not the sun, but the sky, which reflects off the sky and gets into the ground. And that's why usually the ambiental color should be around the sky color. That's why there's a skybox option. And you can see by the skybox option, it's blue. The shadow is blue. Because the skybox is blue, and you can adjust it too. But I'm not going to be using skybox. We're going to be using gradient, which is my favorite type. So essentially there's the color that comes from the sky that we can adjust manually. It can be anything, but it doesn't affect the sides, which is good. So we're going to be making this color. Usually you just get something that makes you be able to see the stage well, but it still creates a very pleasing looking scene. The equator color, which is the color on the side objects, and I usually make this color a little bit lighter because I want people to be able to see things. Don't never make it black. See how it is? Like, you can get some neat effects with this depending on what kind of shading style you're going for, what kind of art style, but if you're going for like a more soft thing, more realistic quote-unquote looking thing, go with light blue. Ground, that's the color that's coming from the ground, so it's the color that's going to be lighting up the bottom of objects. For example, like this. So essentially, you look down there and you see what it is. and you make it somewhat close to that color, but not fully. Sometimes it's good idea to make it a little bit lighter. Never make it a full color, because it's gonna look like this. Make it like this slightly desaturated color. Don't do it like this, but more around here. So as you can see, why is the ground white and why is this green? Well, there's a little bit of a problem in Blender sometimes. When you are UV mapping a texture, if you leave any part of it untextured, this will happen. And you just gotta have to go and find which part of the mesh is in texture, and that is sometimes kind of tough. For example, over here we forgot to texture this part, and in this case you're just gonna delete this part, not edge, face.
That happened to me.
And if you save and you go back into Unity, that part, oh yeah, it fixes everything for some reason. But yeah, thing is though, things are not set up very well yet. So first let's set up the ground. Or the grass in this case. Oh, I can edit it. If I click on it, I can see the material, but I can edit it. What is this? Well, if you go into over here, you click on it, and the inspector, it's this window, it's going to change. And by the way, my UI on Unity is a bit different, but that's fine. You go into use external materials and click apply. And now we can edit it. So essentially creates a material folder with everything. This is a material. A material is it's basically like a shader settings that you can use, and it's neat. And then you can edit things on it. For example, all right. So in the material editor, you get the albedo, which is our main texture, and there's a color is applied to it. You can multiply. It's basically multiplying it by another color. Don't use this for now. Just leave it at white or slightly darker if you want it to be darker. But here you have the metallic slider. Metallic slider is how much of this thing is a metal of sorts. I don't know exactly how it works, but there is also a smoothness slider. The smoother it is, the more like a mirror it is. So you can sort of see that it reflects things like a mirror to a degree. And if you get your lighting in a specific way, you can sort of see that it's reflecting the skybox. Usually it's reflecting the skybox anyways. So that's not how we're going to be doing things. Don't use it like this. This isn't the right thing to do. And don't just set it to 0 either. Don't set it to the middle too, because this looks fucking awful. What you're going to need is a metallic map. So you're going to get the green grass metallic map. This one, green grass metal. We're going to be putting into it, and it's going to look like shit.
Splash Hill Zone.
What is this? Well, there's a thing that we need to do. We need to click on green grass metal, go over here in alpha source, and set it to grayscale. So click apply. Now we got something a lot better. What happens here now is that it's a little bit harder to see. You can adjust this if you want to. But basically, the in-between areas, or the areas that are lighter on the image, are gonna be more smooth than the rest. So essentially, we just have a little effect where this area is being lit up and this area isn't, as if it was like kind of like wet. So it kind of looks like wet grass in this case. Fit to the Hilltop Heights music playing in the background. Yeah, like over here you can see things a little bit more. If you remove this, let me remove it. Now, and if I remove it and add it like this is how it would look like. But if we add it, only this part gets lit up. This is very good. It also blurs out the skybox too, so yeah, this is actually reflecting the light, which is something else, the specular reflection. Now for over here, oh no, first we need to add, oh, I don't think you added a normal to it. Yeah, it's just a metal map, metallicity map and smoothness map. It's both in one really, when you haven't added a normal map, but that's fine. Normal maps aren't necessary everywhere. So for this thing, technically, we just have to set it up in here, and we're going to be doing this, but then we're going to be changing it up, and we're going to be doing this thing, making our own shader. And Shader Forge is going to probably teach you guys a little bit about shaders, and I'm going to be doing something cool in the meantime. So, let me do this real quick. Okay, so we got the normal map. I'm going to put in the normal map in here. And it says the structure isn't marked as normal map. If you click fix now.
By the way, earlier when you used the You made the stage look a lot more like. Yeah, I know, but it looked a lot like Splash Hill Zone.
I guess. If you adjust the intensity of the normal map, you can get whatever you want by the desired effect. It's this thing. If you don't change the number, go to the side and click around the side, and you can just light it up a little bit. I'm gonna be going around here. And now we're gonna be changing, we're gonna be making, I'm gonna be adding a metal map. A metallic map. It's broken again. It's not supposed to be like this. Click on it. Over here, alpha source from Rescale. Now you can barely see it, but it's fine because that's how it works. Like over here, this part is getting lit more than this part because it's supposed to be more smooth. If you click on it and we adjust it, you can see a little bit better, I believe. Yeah. See that this area over here is being lit up a lot, reflecting a lot of sunlight. Because that part's like the smoothest part in some ways. It does create a little neat effect. It's very subtle. This isn't supposed to be very exaggerated. Yeah, and now we have the bump map. And the bump map is gonna look like shit, but it's so far that's what we got. So we're gonna go over here, height map, bump, and it's high map. Now if I adjust it a little bit, you can get sort of like a high map effect on it. This isn't perfect. It's not very good. This area isn't supposed to be moving. It's only this area. But height maps usually look kind of bad unless you adjust them a little bit. So we're going to go into bump over here. And instead of max height being what it is, I'm going to set it to 256. Now it's generally smoother. In general. So it's going to be not as bad. It's still, there is some artifacts like this, but generally they do add a good effect. You're gonna have to adjust them and tweak them to get like a specific setting that isn't very much, it doesn't have as much artifacts, but generally this should be good enough. And you can barely see it, but it's fine. Like over here, the normal map, you can sort of see leading up this part, and this part's higher than this part. You can see the back because you're seeing it from this direction or whatever. But there's more. There's more we can do, and we're gonna be using the shader for JoJo. But so far, let me flip this thing because it's in the wrong direction. It's 180. Right. Oh yeah, let's make this playable first, I guess. I should probably be making this playable. It's probably a good idea to make this playable. So if you click on the object itself, nothing's gonna work. So look at the hierarchy over here. It's selecting the parent object of everything. And this parent object is nothing. There's nothing in here. You have to click the mesh itself. Those things right over here. And if you go on them, you can see that it has a cube and a mesh renderer. So we're gonna clicking this thing and it selects this thing. But if you click it again, it selects the mesh. In this case, just called plane. But if you go over here, minimize those things, click on add component, you're gonna type mesh, and it's gonna show up mesh collider. Press enter, it adds a mesh collider. If we disable this thing and we enable this, now it has collision. This is the mesh collider. This is what it's gonna collide with the player. In this case, we can add a mesh collider as well in this thing. You can also add something like a box collider. And generally a good idea to use box colliders, but this is mostly for optimization purposes. If you have an object that you don't really, like you don't know how things are going on with that object, you might as well just use this thing. It's like a collision that's a little bit odd, just use a box. It's better than using several mesh colliders. Because you are comparing with each vertex of it. And no, this part over here isn't very good, it's just like a little thing going down and the transition might not be very good. And on the blender, I think I did things a little bit wrong. Wasn't supposed to be painting that part green, and I'm gonna fixing the paint real quick. Just gonna painting everything red again. Set vertex colors, and then I'm gonna paint things green again. Some other area, and this is the last thing we're gonna be doing. You're already over 2 hours, so now I'm gonna be painting this edges instead. Those edges, I guess you should be calling it. It's not gonna look the best thing in existence. There are better ways of doing this. I'm gonna be tweaking it, it's fine. This is gonna take a while, but it should be good enough. It should look good. So if we go over here, we can select certain edges to paint over. And then I can paint over here so it doesn't look bad. Now we can see it looks like that. That's fine. Now it's not even here. It's not even here. You don't even see those vertex colors. But we're gonna be seeing them soon enough. So I'm gonna be importing Shader Forge. I think I have to go into Asset Store to do it. Oh, but before that, you see that the shadows over here are kind of broken. The way to fix that is by double clicking it, and you go into the mesh, you go into the mesh renderer, cast shadows, and you select double sided. It doesn't fix it entirely. There's this issue, which you can fix by tweaking the shadow bias of the shadow, or just add like a plane over here. It's complicated to fix issues like this, but it's doable. You'll find a way. But first of all, let me just flip the sun. Flip the sun off. Fuck the sun.
Fuck the sun.
Alright. I'm gonna go in Shader Forge real quick. I'm gonna be importing it, so I have to go through the asset store. So I'm gonna be moving the window. Check out my neat ass background I've been using for fucking 7 years at this point. I really like this background.
Top background?
Yeah.
I mean, it's really good. I don't blame you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's better than mine. I just have the Mania poster.
Oh, I'm gonna. When you buy something from the asset store, you have to go into the asset store window and getting it. I don't know if there's anything that I can show that it's bad, but I'm just gonna do it off screen.
Someone's asking, what about the character creator you were working on?
About the character
It failed.
creator. Oh, it failed.
It failed.
I did really bad things, and I did really bad mistakes that I would have to reset the whole thing from scratch, and I just don't. I have better things to do. All right, so you just import Shader Forge like anything else. I'm not gonna be importing the example assets. Now, or neither the example scene or the README, just editor. All right.
You know?
Importing
just
smell
love this video.
assets.
Oh god.
Yeah, it's importing, guys. While it's importing, it will be taking a bit. Don't fall on top of me, Mike. I'm gonna be taking a piss. So, I'll BRB in a minute.
What? Come on.
I'll be right back, bitches.
Well, I guess it's just me and the audience. Well, how are you doing, audience? All 34 of you. Wow, I don't remember like having 34 before. Actually, I think we had 40. Now you get to know what happens when Lake doesn't talk, when I talk, and then that's how I scare the crowd off. See, even Bomb goes. Even Bomb really. Wait. Oh, he's still here. Damn, I just like that video.
Barack,
What?
you
Hi.
finally hear me.
Yes. Hi.
Or you go hear me before.
I heard you from time to time, I guess. Were you
I'm
trying
back,
to speak the
bitches.
entire time? Oh, that was quick.
Oh. Did it not import? No. It has to. Leash. Anyways. Hey chat. How's it going, chat? Oh, the background isn't from before the sequel, that's just Hilltop Zone. It's from regular Hilltop Zone.
Who thought this was from BTS?
Someone said it. Gamer Boy 199999 whatever.
1999.
Yeah.
Dreamcast boys.
You're not a Dreamcast boy. You just like Sonic Adventure.
Oh. But Sonic Adventure came out in '98 in Japan.
Oh.
But then again, it was released with the Dreamcast, so it's like whatever.
Come on, Unity. Just do
Or-
your thing. Allow
Or
me
maybe
to.
it was, or maybe it was just born in that year.
Man, I hate my hard drive. It's so slow.
I have an SSD.
It's gonna break
When
anytime.
well, it's pretty cool.
I don't trust SSDs. It's just my thing.
I wasn't trusting them earlier. I did not trust them myself, but I heard it's a good option. Either way,
Okay.
if something happens.
I have imported it. Oh, I hear myself in your mic. All right, this is the last thing you're gonna be doing. Okay. Okay, Unity. All right, so if you're going over here, you have Shader Forge, and you have our little shader editor. This is it's not a free asset, so you have to buy it. But any other shader editor is gonna do it probably. So we're gonna go into new shader. You're gonna go into lit and PBR, which is the physically based rendering we were using. There's a lot more you could have done here, and maybe I'll cover some other things later, but now we just had to select somewhere to put this. I'm gonna go in Green Hall. I'm just gonna call it Hope You Like Green Hill Shader. This is gonna be called. And now we have a simple PBR shader, which just has like a base color and a color, and it's simple, and it has a metallic, whatever, it's lighter over here. So here's how it works. Essentially, you have a whole bunch of nodes that you can be adding, and then those nodes go into several things like base color. This thing, it's a texture and a color, and you multiply those two together, and you get a base color. And over here, you got a metallic slider that you can change. Like, check out this thing. And now we got a gloss slider. Right, and then you just go into gloss. So here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna go into metallic, and you're gonna be creating a texture. You press T, texture 2D, then you're gonna be telling a metallic map, whatever. You just call it whatever. I mean, technically, you want a name that's similar to what is in Unity, but I'm just gonna be doing like that. Press M, multiply. Multiply those two, and you can't. Well, metallic map has to be an alpha. Or it has to be like one input. This one is 3 inputs. It's a vector 3. It's the RGB. It has to be only one color. So we're going to be using the alpha channel. And then I go over here. Do the same thing with gloss. I'm going to go into over here. Texture 2D. Technically, we can go over the max, but that's what it does. It's not very good. I don't know what happens if it goes minus. Yeah, it's not good. So keep it at max between 1, minimum 0. So here you multiply, alpha, and gloss, and this is gonna become the gloss. Now there's like a texture, and I think it needs to be, the default needs to be white in general. If it's black, then this is always 0, because any number times 0 is 0. So it gotta be white, which is 1. There we go, got a little ball over there. Now, here's what we're gonna do. We already have that, you have the normal map. But to do intensities of normal map, there's an interesting way. So I'm gonna be making a new texture, texture 2D. And it's gonna call it the dummy normal. I'm gonna call it normal map. And then I'm gonna go into lerp. And I'm gonna go over here, A, B, and T. It's A, B, and time. Lerps are interesting. I'll try to explain what a lerp is. Basically, just select this area, whatever. You have a lerp, you have A, and you got B. And then T is over here. It's the distance between both of them. If a T is 0.5, then it's going to be a value in between those, the A and B. So if A is 0 and B is 1, T is going to be 0.5. But if B is 2, it's going to be 1. That's what it is. That's all that it is. But you can actually go over B. So here's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be adding a value. The green things are things that show up in the inspector. In this case, I don't want this to show up, so I'm gonna click hiding the inspector. It's hidden. I don't want this thing to show up. I'm gonna call it normal intensity. And I'm gonna put this in time, put it into 1. And this is our normal map with that thing. Where's the normal? Right. That thing that creates an intensity. So if we select a normal map over here, this one, not showing anything right now. What? Oh, there we go. Oh, if it's 1, nothing shows up. Has to be 2. That's odd. I wonder what's going on. They're both selected as normal map. Huh. It's really weird. It has to be 2, or else it doesn't show up. But if it's 0, does anything happen? Something happens, but you can go into the negatives too. You can make this thing like massive. Hundreds. Probably 100. I think this is broken. Is it broken? Ooh, it might be. The hell did I do wrong this time? I must have done something wrong. Because you can fuck up normals. Oh, it's not set as normal map.
Someone's asking if you're getting Mania Plus and if you're gonna stream it.
Probably. Yeah, I see that the sunlight changes direction. I swear to God, I did this right several times already. I don't know what's up with this. Just select this to be a normal map. Huh. Ah, whatever. This is all fucked up. But this is fucked up. What the hell's going on?
Yeah, I don't have any idea either. My
Sometimes
voice
it
broke.
just happens. There's like a thing and I don't get it. It's just doing that. Oh no, it's fine. Let me do this again.
My code works. What did you do? I don't know, but it works.
Did I use the wrong kind of lerp? Oh no, it just doesn't work now. Oh, it's because it's not set to normal.
LARP.
Oh yeah, it works, but it's weird. I think this has to be B. Yeah. So, hiding the inspector. Yep, it works now. Now I can see that there's like a... There's a slider, and you can adjust it. Yep. So there's other things that we can do over here. We're not gonna be doing those. Instead, we're gonna be doing something better.
Bomb my lap.
Alright, so we're gonna be moving this thing way over there. And first, we're gonna be changing the base color. This is gonna be complicated. Let me change the name. In shader settings, there's shader for like me here. Local tutorial cool app. Isn't crap. I can say crap. I can say
Looking for a tutorial while making
yeah,
a
select all those
tutorial.
things, whatever. I always do. Default shader seems to do that too. In properties, you have the orders of things. Normal map is at first for some reason. Metallic, gloss, metallic map above metallic. Is base texture. What the fuck is base texture?
Kinoxic says, I want to be Lake's friend so badly.
Knox is an idiot. Don't entertain him. Just don't talk to the guy.
Alright.
Sure. For those who don't know, the guy's been raiding a lot of servers and just doing a lot of bad things. I've tried to help the guy, but he's just here for trolling. There's just no way dealing with him. Normal intensity. I typed it wrong. Intensity try. ISO color. Oh, that was base color. Base color is just base texture. What the fuck? I don't get it. Whatever. This should do it. I could compile shader. It works. But now we're gonna be doing another lerp. And instead of doing this is normal map. Okay. We're gonna be lerping something too. And it's gonna be should be doing the base color first. So base color. This is getting complicated as you can probably see. Now we're gonna get vertex colors. And by lerping things, you need to use the color red. So if you go into Blender, red needs to be where things are, and God, I'm fucking this up. Okay, so what I want to do is that where green is, I want to be grass, and where red is, I want to be ground. So essentially, I need to, in this case, I'm going to be changing this texture to be that shader, and it has to be adding this green shadow based on the green channel. Yeah. So I'm going to be using green channel as time. I'm getting this, copy and pasting it.
Bing Bong Bobby says, "Hey Lake, do you know how big companies make their own skyboxes? Do you know if they have an artist, or do they draw them, or are they photographs taken?"
It can be all those things really. Personally, I do my skyboxes by setting up a scene in Blender, and then setting up a camera that renders the skybox in all 5 directions. And itself, I think it's 5, and then I put the skybox into Unity. That's how I do it. It's a complicated thing, but it's not that complicated. But yeah, you can paint, or you can do it manually. You can do it with several objects. So I do like a paint, like several clouds, several mountains, and I copy and paste them into a sphere around the camera, and then I do that in Blender, and you can get the image and I put it in Unity. So in this case, just to make. In this case, you see that there's an arrow. That's because there's a hidden setting that shows the name of the thing, and it's different. It's color 2. So in this case, oh, it shows the normal map for some reason. I think this is just broken. So I'm just gonna be putting this in here, and this is what are gonna become the final color. So I'm just gonna put this into Unity just so into the engine itself to see if it works. See if we can do. There's no reference to object. Fuck those errors. Holy shit. Okay, over here, if you go into, where did I put it? A tutorial collab. That's right there. Oh, not the grass. This one. Collab. This one. Now we can see there's like this thing over here. So if you go in here and make that second texture. By the way, first we need to get the metal map over here. Since you have 2 separated into one texture separated to 2, now we just need to do this. Yeah, and now it's just like it was before. And now we need to get the grass and put it in here. Now check out what we have. It could have been done better, but essentially I have the grass sort of like fading in over here. This isn't the best method possible, but it is a thing that you can do. But there's something else that I can do to make this look a bit better. So I'm gonna go back into Shader Forge. If I click on the shader itself and click Open in Shader Forge, I can do that. So I'm gonna make a power, I think it's called power, green over here and then over here. And now I'm gonna go into volume, vertex power. So call it vertex power. I'm gonna be making it a 2. So if I go back in there, I think if I change it, yeah, now there's like a little fall off. Now I can see that things are a little bit better now. But now what we would have to do, and I'm going to be doing it right now, it doesn't seem to be that big of an issue. We need to do the same method, but for other things, for the other things. So I'm going to do a get, I'm going to do a set.
That looks pretty cool.
Set, it's going to be vertex. Cool. So now over here in the normal, we need to do a lerp. B. Now you're gonna do a get vertex call. It's right there. I'm gonna put it over here and the normal. No texture. Normal too.
I'm now laying. I am now
Brock is
laying
laying.
Hello, it is I. I'm the Great Play. Guys, I have to tell you, Sonic Utopia has been cancelled, as I have been informed.
They should cancel it and make an original game. Just replace Sonic with your own bird character.
He's planning to do that after Utopia, so.
No, we should do it now. Now there's a money incentive.
I guess. I don't know.
Okay, so right now I'm gonna
They'll
be copying
do whatever
this
it
thing.
feels like it.
Yeah. It's gonna be called Glass 2. And Glass 2. B. Get. Vertex Skull. This is glows. Yes. That's the same thing for metal. Man, this is the most deorganized shader I ever made, ever. I usually organize things a little bit better, but it's pretty late right now. I've been half an hour more than what I should be.
Oof. Should I read out the other stuff Quanox says?
No.
Yeah, it's for the best. But he's sprouting a lot of weird shit right now.
Alright. Metallic, go here. Did I do it right? I think so. Or not. Nope. This is B, and this is A. This should be the thing that alters it, not this one, because there's no vertex on it. Let me check this thing now. Wrong. This is B, and this is A. This shader will be shared to you guys after it's done too, so you guys are gonna be able to use it. I'm gonna be sharing everything too. After it's over, I'm gonna be sharing the whole folder, the whole green hall folder. You can use it for whatever you want.
Are you gonna upload it?
Yeah. Now it's a little bit better because now you can adjust it to be whatever you want it to be. Or maybe not, maybe it's not working. Wow. Well, this is odd. I wonder why it's like this. Very metallic. Have I done anything wrong particularly? I actually don't know. Is it normal? Oh, normal's only showing up in there. So let's go back into the shader. No, this is not OBS. God, I hate that it's not a new window. Shader Forge? No. Can't. Sync fans try to get it salvage what they can from Sonic Forces remaking into a better game. Sonic Forces is a very inflexible game in some ways, so I don't think it's gonna be possible to just do it like that.
Why would we want a remake when the game literally came out? Like,
It's because there's like, I think it's because people see a lot of like reasonably quality assets and they want to do something with it. But I still don't think there's much, reason to.
But this is like Sonic 06 remake logic. It's like, why bother?
Yeah, at this point you should just make a new game, really.
Exactly.
I know you might not have
Like,
the skills to do it, but if you keep working enough, eventually you will.
it's more like something I'd rather leave for the fans. I don't want an actual remake of this
Also,
shit.
every fan getting
It's
together
like-
and doing a thing, it's really easy to say like, oh, let's get everyone together. It doesn't work like that. Humans are not like that. Everyone has their own self-interest and they want a selfish interest and they want to do their own thing. It's not. This is not a commentary on people. It's fine for you to have your own selfish interest. I know I have mine. You know, everyone has their own selfish interest and that's completely fine. But it's just impossible to get everyone to work together unless you are appealing directly to everyone's selfish interests. Oh shit! I'm doing it wrong. I'm thinking this is the normal map, but the thing is glitched. I was gonna say that like shader forge isn't glitchy, but this isn't right. You can't do this to me, bitch. Why?
Like, can I time out Quanoxics?
Go ahead. I don't even know what he's doing. I'm not reading it. Where am I missing alert? Oh, it's all the way over there. Where's the normal map? Where is it done? Alright, it's wrong. It's showing up on top and not at the bottom. I just got myself pretty confused. This should be working now. Now the normal map is less affected over here. Now we can use another normal map in here. This isn't perfect. Over here we don't have vertex color set up, so that happens. So let's go into vertex colors. Vertex paint in this case. And it paints everything red. And then I'm gonna go for green. I think green is up. Is it? Yeah. There we go, now I got something a little bit better. This isn't amazing. There is another way we can do this though, and this is gonna be cool. To a degree. There's one more thing. And we're gonna open up in Shader Forge again. And you see this place that we did this thing over here. I'm gonna be doing this off over here, deleting this. We're gonna be get vertex call. We're gonna be over here. Now we're gonna be doing a multiply. I think it's gonna be a multiply. So we're gonna be adding a texture. Texture TD. Vertex noise. So just to be white by default, I'm gonna be using the alpha channel this time and vertex call. Let's see what I can get out of this. I don't know exactly how we're gonna do this. I haven't done it personally before. But now I have vertex noise and it selects any texture that is some kind of noise. Or anything that we can use. I still have an alpha channel though. Let me see if I have a noise. Or a metal map. Alright. Now let me make this like a 2 or 3. And now what we're doing here is that we're multiplying that by this thing and making a sort of, oh, I can put it. We need a better texture for this. Anything will do really for now. So let me just do this from grayscale. Yeah, so we're making this transition based on a texture, and now as you can see, if you make it like 10, something like that. Now let's make it a 5. Now there's like a little pattern that goes up. It should be a better texture, but so far this is what I got. And it does that. Now we can also set the normal the metallic map of this thing to be what it has to be. Like this. Wow. What's wrong? What the fuck? Oh, it's normal. Oops.
Oh,
So,
I just realized. Damn.
what?
I just realized what you were doing. Like
Oh, yeah.
doing the whole.
Now that the
yeah.
metallic map is set and everything is set, things look a bit better in this case. It could have been a bit better in the sense that it could have been it could have rounded the values a little bit. Like this. Well, I'm gonna show it. I'm gonna do it because I like doing it. So I'm gonna do this lighter. Bands. P. Posterize. Here. 10. Should be cool. Now we can make it sort of toonish. But like sort of more flat. Not a great idea, but it brings out an effect. And you might want... If we make it a 1... Wow! This isn't... So if we make it 2, now it's just a thing like that. It might be useful for you if you just want like a whole bunch of vines coming down that's very sharp looking. Instead of like that. Or I could just go for like several. 100 and it'll be fine. And don't forget vertex power, which is over here. Woo! Okay. Probably need a better texture for this. Let me see if I have anything. Because I usually have like some noise maps that I can use for things. But I don't have it right now. Oh, it's the bump map. Let's just add the bump map to grayscale.
What do you want with my name?
What? Who?
Quanoxix. I timed it out there. Now it's
Is
like
he
using
PMing you?
multiple. He's using multiple outs.
Oh yeah, he's gonna
says he
come for you
wants
now. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's it. That's why I'm not saying my name, and don't say my name as well.
His name is literally
From now
Brack.
on, no.
But that's...
My name is Clifford. My name is Clifford the dog.
He wants to dox you, but you have shown your face before.
Well, not
Oh,
to everyone.
Oh yeah, right over here. Because of the way you set vertex power to be and everything, you got sort of like a grass looking thing around it. Now it's starting to look more like a Sonic Advance kind of game. You can sell like 2 values. Yeah,
This
now we're
looks
getting
like Sonic. That looks like Sonic Lost World.
it. I mean, it's something, right? It's because we're actually using classic Sonic though. This isn't
No,
modern.
it's because there's a lot of small squares. There's a lot of square shapes. It's like
That is true. Let me see if there's anything more I can do. There was a thing that I was gonna
It's
do,
like
but I
some-
forgot about it.
it's like Sonic Lost World was like it was trying to replicate like Sonic 1's like it's simple shapes, but like it was just like it was curvy simple shapes. It's like everything looks like round simple shapes.
I guess so, but the Sonic one.
It's like Mario. It's like Mario World. Now the thing is with Sonic 1 is that like I think with Sonic 1 what it's like they were using a lot of 3D models that they converted, a lot of low poly models. Like the palm trees, they're obviously 3D models.
I don't think
converted.
they are. I don't know. I think they're just pixel art. It looks
They
like 3D
look-
models.
They look like it.
Yeah, they sure do, but it's not. I don't know. I'm just editing a little thing over there. This isn't effective, but there's a little slow. And again,
I
there's
mean,
this thing.
some of it is.
I'm gonna set it to 2. Vertex power. Yeah. It's something. I keep forgetting the thing. What the hell I was gonna do? I forgot it. Legitimately forgot it. There's more we could do. We could do with this. Add a lot more detail. Continue on the stage and whatnot. There's a lot more we can do, but so far I think this is gonna be it. Let me test the stage out. Let's walk around it. See what we get. Ooh. A Sonic in there. Jumps, goes on the slope. Goes into the little thing. It's a very small looking stage because I think Rescale ended up being a bit smaller than Sonic because I wanted to get a fixed value. So let's make it a bit bigger. 0.7 maybe. No, let's go for 0.6. Yeah, I think this should be doable. I don't know if the jump scale is this actual scale. The jump, yeah, it's around the scale. It's just an estimation, but I usually get it right. And I have a little green hill I can walk around.
I'm doing fine. Why are you asking? What are you asking?
Yeah. This slope could probably be bigger and the camera maybe a little bit less spazzy. But yeah, I've been still tweaking the camera in Fark. The Hedge physics camera. And if we go over here, we can get out. That's cool. There we go, guys. This has been the tutorial for right now. This is pretty much over. If you guys want to ask any more questions, feel free to do so. I'm going to be uploading this to Google Drive and you guys can use it to do whatever you want. And I might be coming back to this later and doing a couple more things, but so far this is what it is. This is how it's going to be.
That was quite a lot of work for this small piece of yes,
Small piece of stage.
yeah.
It is very simplistic and whatnot.
Does
Nice
it usually
figure.
take you less time when it's not a tutorial?
Well, I lazed out, so I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't. Oh, I forgot.
no,
I was
wait,
gonna add the height map to it, but whatever. We'll do height maps later.
He wants to get unbanned from Hedgeland.
Brack. Block button. Block button.
No, I have
Oh.
a timeout.
Oh wait. Oh, so this, whatever, orange guy looking guy. That's Quinoxic. Oh, okay. Can you time him out? This is a very blocky stage too, and this part over here isn't exactly high poly enough to be good collision, but I'm just introducing people to the basics of 2D modeling and whatnot, and I don't think I did a particularly great job at it, because there's so much to get over. The thing is, 3D modeling and making 3D games in general just requires a shit ton of knowledge. There's so many things you need to know and get good at. It's absolutely unbearable, and there's a lot of things you can add to this stage to make it look less, less blocky and less of the way it is and whatnot. It's gonna require a lot of effort. It's just how it is, and yeah. Oh god, your Sen's the skeleton too?
Yeah. I was gonna say.
You're never getting unbanned, dude.
Should I? Yeah, I'm just gonna. There.
Yeah, the thing about Quinox is that this goes into servers, trolls people around, and eventually actually took over a server at one point because some guy decided it was a good idea to make him a mod.
Just so you know, this
So
is not the
annoying.
first time we meet.
Dude, I tried to help you. but
I've
you're beyond
I've
helping.
seen this guy's shit before.
His problem is that he wants
I've seen
to be
this
a problem.
guy's shit before. Yeah, I know
As
this.
long as you want to be a problem, you're not going to be around. You broke the rules though.
Also, from
Several
now,
outs. Anyways, this is it, guys. I really hate that it has to be Shadow and Quinoxic, the stream. I really want to be helping people and figuring out your questions, and he is getting on the way of doing that. This isn't a very good idea. Again, he just has another account. This time just ban it. I don't care anymore. Banning Quinoxic is fucking fun. I love it.
you had your chance. Dude, you had your chance. You had a lot of chances.
Oh, I love it. Banning Quinoxic is amazing. It's become a funny pastime.
Okay, so how many else did we bypass so far?
Oh, he has plenty.
Oh boy. I'm sure, yeah, he does.
Well, anyways, I think this is it, guys. It's been a good time. I have to do more things. I would have to cover reflection probes, which is a thing. It's right over here. It's baking, and it's supposed to be baking right now. Reflection probes are a very good idea that we'll have to go over, but so far this is it. Maybe I'll get back to this later, but I think this is it for now. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys have a good time.
Yay.
I hope I didn't waste your time. And thanks for watching.
I'll remember this for when I use Unity eventually.
That's
Again.
good. Anyways, I'm gonna stop.